Chapter 1571. However, Bodyguard B was more clever. He helped Bodyguard A out of the situation with one sentence. "Why are you asking so much?" Bodyguard B pointed at Yang Ming and shouted, "You came here. Do you think you have a choice? You still want to bargain with us? Do you want to die?" "Yeah." Bodyguard A glanced at Bodyguard B gratefully and also shouted, "Are you tired of living? Do you want me to fix you?" "Old King, you hold him down. I will search him." In this way, there was no need to provoke him. He could directly use this as a starting point to teach Yang Ming a lesson. Okay. Old King, who was Bodyguard B, grabbed Yang Ming and wanted to control Yang Ming. "Kid, if you want to suffer less, you better be honest." "Suffer less?" Yang Ming raised his head with a smile and glanced at Bodyguard A and B. "Yesterday, didn't the P make your heads clear? Don't you know that some people can't be provoked?" "The P last night. Did you do it on purpose?" Bodyguard A's face immediately became gloomy, and there was anger in his eyes. "It turned out that you did it on purpose. I was wondering why you were peeing on the garbage heap so coincidentally. It turned out that you did it on purpose." Good. Nonsense. Yang Ming shrugged. "If I didn't do it on purpose, why would I pee on the garbage heap? Do I have nothing to do? It's ridiculous. Did you think I was really drunk? You two sneakily walked in front of me. When you saw that I was going to the bathroom, you ran in first. Did you want to ambush me? I just dawdled at the door for a while. You two idiots really fell for it. You leaned on the door to listen to the movement outside. As a result, I kicked you. How is it? The power of the door panel is very cool, right?" Yang Ming sneered sarcastically. You. I think you don't know how to spell the word death." Bodyguard A was furious. He pointed at Yang Ming and was so angry that his whole body was trembling. He didn't expect that yesterday's incident was actually Yang Ming's scheme. He had always thought that it was a coincidence, so even if he was angry with Yang Ming, there was a limit to it. He wasn't irrationally blaming everything on Yang Ming. However, after hearing Yang Ming's explanation, Bodyguard A couldn't wait to kill Yang Ming. He even had the heart to kill Yang Ming. Bodyguard B had fainted yesterday, so it was still a little worse. However, Bodyguard A had been awake the whole time. Being drenched in someone's urine was a great humiliation to him. It was no less humiliating than the humiliation he had suffered back then. Therefore, Bodyguard A was about to go crazy for a moment. "Good, you little bastard surnamed Yang, you're very good. Since you dare to admit it, Grandpa will let you know the price of blood today." "Oh. Price of blood?" Yang Ming shook his head regretfully. "I thought that the two of you had already tasted the price of blood when you crashed into each other yesterday. It seems that it wasn't enough. I still have to do a little more to make it unforgettable." "What?" "Yesterday's car accident was also caused by you. Bodyguard B was the driver yesterday. He still had lingering fears about the brake system malfunction. He was secretly relieved that he almost lost his life yesterday. Now that he heard that this incident was actually related to Yang Ming, his anger was no less than Bodyguard A's. You've got guts. You dare to admit it here. Don't you know whose territory this is? Whose territory? Yang Ming put his hands in his pockets and looked like he was asking for a beating. Why don't you tell me? Okay. You've got guts. Bodyguard A wasn't in a hurry to teach Yang Ming a lesson now. In his opinion, a simple lesson couldn't resolve the hatred in his heart. He wanted to let Yang Ming remember the price of teasing and insulting him forever. Bodyguard A was really angry. Before he was recruited by Chen Jie, he was also a fugitive. He was also a master who fought to the death. How could he swallow this insult now? Old king, tell him whose territory this is. Bodyguard A glanced at Bodyguard B and said, Kid, since you entered this room and dared to admit what happened yesterday, then you should be prepared to pay the price. Bodyguard B said coldly, but little brat, let me tell you. The chances of you walking out of here in one piece today are very slim. Really? Then I'd like to see what the two of you are capable of. Yang Ming shrugged. Right, I forgot to tell you. This is not your territory. What do you mean? Bodyguard A was stunned. Because this is my territory. Yang Ming chuckled. Haven't you heard of this saying? This is my territory, and I call the shots. Your territory. Bodyguard A still didn't understand what Yang Ming meant. Take the two of them down and entertain them, Yang Ming said faintly. Ah. Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B were confused by Yang Ming's confusing words. What are you talking about? Are you crazy? Are you talking nonsense? However, just as the two of them were puzzled, the door of the room opened with a bang. A pair of people in security uniforms rushed in. Without saying anything, they directly pressed Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B to the ground. You. Who are you? What do you want to do? Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B were shocked. They didn't expect a group of people to suddenly rush into the room. However, no one answered them. After Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B struggled for a while and found that it was futile, they could only stop resisting and obediently lie on the ground. Although the two of them were experienced fighters, these security guards weren't weak either. They were well trained and swift, and they were very strong. They couldn't move at all. In the face of so many people, Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B knew that they weren't opponents at all. They could only obediently give up resistance. People like them belonged to the category of bullying the weak and fearing the strong. When they saw people who were stronger than them, they could only obediently listen to orders in order to avoid physical pain. Brother Yang, how are you? Are you hurt? Captain Xiao Zhang ran in front of Yang Ming in high spirits and asked for credit. I'm fine. Yang Ming smiled. Take the two of them down to have a good rest. Yes. Brother Yang. Xiao Zhang waved his hand, and the security guards took Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B out of the room. Yang Ming didn't want to show his skills in front of these people. This was Yang Ming's trump card. Therefore, when Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B were talking nonsense with him, Yang Ming reached into his pocket and sent a text message to the hotel's security captain, Xiao Zhang, asking him to bring people to the door of room 1222 to be on standby at any time and listen to his orders. If it were other people, I'm afraid that this text message wouldn't be sent out, but Yang Ming's special ability allowed him to see the phone screen in his pocket clearly, so the text message was sent out quickly. Xiao Zhang received Yang Ming's text message, and he was so excited that he almost exclaimed. On his first day in office, Yang Ming had something for him to do. This made him feel very honored. It should be said that it was a great honor. He immediately gathered several core personnel of the security company. These people were specially trained and had good skills. Xiao Zhang took them directly to the 12th floor and waited at the door of room 1222, waiting for Yang Ming's instructions. Hearing the conversation between Yang Ming and Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B in the room, Xiao Zhang was anxious. He was afraid that Bodyguard A and Bodyguard B would hurt Yang Ming. However, Yang Ming's text message asked him to take people to wait at the door, so Xiao Zhang didn't dare to break in directly. He could only wait anxiously at the door for Yang Ming's orders. After waiting for a while, he finally heard Yang Ming say, "Take the two of them down and treat them well." At this time, Xiao Zhang knew that it was time for him to appear, so he immediately took people to break in. He showed his power and pressed the two bodyguards to the ground without any hesitation. He wanted to make a good impression on Yang Ming quickly, and he did do it. Yang Ming nodded to Xiao Zhang with satisfaction. You go down too. Yes, brother Yang. Xiao Zhang said in his heart, I can't go. I have to leave a few brothers to wait at the door together. What if brother Yang has other things to do? Xiao Zhang and the security guards quickly left the room and closed the door as if nothing had happened. Chapter 1572. Come out. Did you enjoy watching? Yang Ming waited for little Zhang and the others to leave. He stared at the door of the presidential suite with a smile and said mockingly. Yang Ming had already seen with his special ability that Chen Jie had been standing in the presidential suite's inner room, peeking through the peephole at everything that happened outside. However, Yang Ming didn't expose it before. He waited for his people to take the two bodyguards away before he spoke sarcastically. At this moment, Chen Jie was already sweating. He didn't expect that Yang Ming would ambush a group of people at the door in advance and take down his two bodyguards. Indeed, as Yang Ming said, he had been in the presidential suite's inner room and had been monitoring the movements outside through the peephole. The idea of the two bodyguards provoking Yang Ming to teach Yang Ming a lesson was also instigated by Chen Jie. He was also extremely angry with Yang Ming, so he also wanted to give Yang Ming a show of strength. So, he ordered bodyguards A and B to act according to the situation in advance. At that time, he would hide in the presidential suite's inner room and secretly watch. Even if Chen Fei was dissatisfied, he could say that he wasn't present and that it was the idea of the two bodyguards. In this way, even if Chen Fei was unwilling, there was no other way. Just as Chen Jie was watching the show, Yang Ming suddenly said that he had peed on the two bodyguards last night. This made Chen Jie suddenly stunned because he didn't know about this matter that Yang Ming said. However, looking at the two bodyguards' hatred, he knew that Yang Ming was telling the truth and not talking nonsense. It was just that Chen Jie didn't know the specific situation. The two bodyguards didn't mention this matter to him. It was probably because it was too embarrassing, so they hid it. However, after Yang Ming's explanation, Chen Jie also understood the general situation. It was his two bodyguards who were monitoring Yang Ming. When they found that Yang Ming was going to the bathroom, they rushed to the bathroom first to prepare to ambush Yang Ming. As a result, they didn't know what happened. Yang Ming discovered and saw through their actions, so he deliberately didn't enter the bathroom door. This also caused the two bodyguards to put their ears on the door out of curiosity to listen to the movements outside. They wanted to find out why Yang Ming didn't enter the bathroom. Yang Ming's timing was very good. After the two bodyguards put their ears on the door panel, Yang Ming kicked them, so the door panel knocked the two bodyguards to the ground. In the end, they didn't know why. Maybe the two of them hit the trash can, and the trash overturned, covering the two of them. Then Yang Ming pretended to be drunk, walked into the bathroom, and peed on the trash pile. As a result, the urine was all over the heads of the two bodyguards. This was the whole process of the tragedy. It had to be said that Chen Jie's imagination was quite rich. Just from a few sentences of Yang Ming's explanation, he was able to link the process before and after. It was not much different from the truth. Chen Jie didn't expect Yang Ming to actually trick his two bodyguards. However, this was nothing. He had already learned from Chen Xiaolong that Yang Ming's temper was completely like a hooligan. It was reasonable for him to do such a thing. However, what Yang Ming said next shocked Chen Jie. The failure of the two bodyguards' brake system yesterday was actually related to Yang Ming. This shocked him. He also secretly thought that Yang Ming was ruthless. He actually dared to do anything. Wasn't he afraid that the two bodyguards would be legally responsible if they really hit him with a car? Did he think that he could be unscrupulous with Chen Fei as his father-in-law, the police chief? This was Chen Jie's misunderstanding of Yang Ming. Yang Ming was unscrupulous because of his identity as a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. These two people followed Yang Ming and tried to do something bad to him. It was normal for Yang Ming to destroy them. Even if Xia Bingbao knew about this, he wouldn't say anything. After hearing that Yang Ming was so unscrupulous, Chen Jie had the intention to let go of Yang Ming. This sense of vigilance came from the fact that Yang Ming stood in his own private room and dared to talk about what he did yesterday in front of the two bodyguards. What did this mean? It meant that either Yang Ming was fearless, or his brain was damaged and he wanted to die. However, it seemed that the former possibility was more reliable. In Chen Jie's opinion, this Yang Ming was not a fool. Then, when Yang Ming said, "Take the two of them down and treat them well," Chen Jie immediately understood everything. After that, Chen Jie understood everything at once. Yang Ming really had a backup plan. He didn't come here by himself, but someone was lying in ambush at the door of the room. As for how Yang Ming's people opened the door of the room, Chen Jie didn't think much about it. He thought that the two bodyguards didn't close the door tightly at that time, or that Yang Ming did something. This was because Chen Jie never thought that little Zhang's group of people would be the security guards in the hotel. When they opened the door, they used the universal door card for cleaning the room. Chen Jie didn't care about Yang Ming's so-called "this is my territory." He thought that Yang Ming meant that this was Songjiang, not the south. He didn't mean that the hotel was Yang Ming's territory. So at this point, although Chen Jie had guessed it, he didn't get the essence. He still didn't understand that Yang Ming's current identity was no longer the little punk of the past. The reason why Yang Ming was so confident when facing Chen Jie was because his identity and value had far exceeded Chen Jie's. Even Chen Jie couldn't catch up with him. This was the real reason why Yang Ming dared to be arrogant. If it were in the past, Yang Ming wouldn't be so calm when facing Wang Shifan. Why is it so noisy? Chen Jie yawned and walked out in a daze. I just slept. What's wrong? Oh. Is classmate Yang Ming here? Chen Jie knew that Yang Ming's people were lying in ambush outside, so he no longer mentioned the previous Yang Ming show of strength. Instead, he used the tactic of conciliation. Although he didn't know where the group of people at the door came from, he thought that Yang Ming was the king of gangsters when he was in school. Now, he was definitely a big gangster. These people were undoubtedly gangsters in society. Chen Jie didn't want to provoke this kind of person. When he was in the south, he hired two bodyguards who had been in society because he was afraid of being harassed by gangsters. It saved him a lot of trouble. In Songjiang, Chen Jie didn't want to cause too much trouble. He just didn't understand. How did Chen Fei find such a son-in-law? Is this possible? Chen Jie, why do you pretend that you just woke up and that it has nothing to do with you? Yang Ming sneered, you were leaning on the door panel before and made a sound. Do you think I didn't hear it? This, hee hee. Chen Jie smiled awkwardly, classmate Yang Ming, the two bodyguards were played by you yesterday. It's normal for them to be resentful, but it's not my intention. Oh, then what do you mean? Yang Ming snorted coldly. Naturally, he didn't believe Chen Jie's nonsense. I mean, we can talk about it. Chen Jie was a little afraid that Yang Ming wouldn't play by the rules. This kind of person was the most troublesome. When he was in the south, he was unwilling to deal with such people. He couldn't be persuaded by force or persuasion unless he found someone more powerful to pressure them. Talk about what? Yang Ming asked, talk about what great benefits you want to give me. Yes. Chen Jie regained his confidence when he talked about this great benefit. Yang Ming, why do people live in this world? Talk to me about life. Yang Ming shrugged, what do you think? I think that people need to enjoy life. But to enjoy life, you must have money first. If you don't have money, how can you enjoy life? Chen Jie talked about what he was good at and began to talk, so, I think that people need to make money first, and then enjoy life. Do you think I'm right? Sorry, I don't think the same as you. I can't say if you're right or not. Yang Ming shook his head faintly. Oh. Chen Jie was stunned. What do you mean? You don't like money? Chapter 1573. Chen Jie had a lot of calculations before. He believed that most people would agree with him after he said this sentence. How could one not enjoy life? If one wanted to enjoy life, one must have money. It's not about whether I like it or not. I have no concept of money. Yang Ming said calmly, I think that I live for the people I love and the people who love me. I will make the people around me live better. If you don't have money, how can you make the people around you live better? Chen Jie frowned. He secretly thought, this Yang Ming is beating around the bush. Why is he beating around the bush? He didn't believe that Yang Ming really didn't like money. He felt that the reason why Yang Ming was beating around the bush was that the chips he proposed were not enough. In his opinion, everyone had value. It just depended on whether he could afford to pay that value. How do you know that I don't have money? Yang Ming asked. Moreover, the value of happiness is not measured purely from a monetary point of view. Even without money, I can still live well. When Yang Ming said this, he couldn't help but think of the last period of high school, with Chen Mengyan, Zhao Ying, and Lan Ling. Although he didn't have much money at that time, he lived a very carefree life. It wasn't necessarily bad. Yang Ming, I won't beat around the bush with you. I'll just say it directly. Chen Jie had no choice. If Yang Ming continued to beat around the bush, he would be confused. He decided to say his purpose and chips directly. You should have done this earlier. Yang Ming curled his lips. I knew that a low-class person like you wouldn't understand my life ideals. Ha! Low-class person. Chen Jie was about to explode when he heard Yang Ming's words. What is a low-class person? Is he a high-class person? Isn't this word too insulting? However, in order to achieve his purpose, Chen Jie couldn't directly fall out with Yang Ming on the spot. He could only hold back his anger and said, in short, if you leave Chen Mengyan, I will give you 1 million yuan. Oh. Yang Ming raised his eyelids and looked at Chen Jie from top to bottom, as if he was looking at a big fool. Chen Jie felt a little scared. What are you looking at? I'll give you 1 million. Do you agree? Chen Jie repeated uncomfortably. I'm looking to see if you're retarded. Yang Ming looked at Chen Jie mockingly. You think 1 million is a lot? Chen Jie was about to go crazy, but he held back from exploding. Then, how much do you want? I'll give you 1 million to let your wife be with someone else. Will you do it? Yang Ming said this and suddenly slapped his forehead. Oh, Xiao Rui, I remember now. Your wife has already run away with someone else. It doesn't matter if you do it or not, Yang Ming, don't go too far. Chen Jie couldn't hold back the anger in his heart and finally exploded. Yang Ming touched the scar deep in his heart, making his heart bleed. He was angry. Do you think that I'm afraid of you, so I'm here to negotiate with you? Who do you think you are? You think 1 million is too little. Why don't you go rob a bank? Oh, then since you think it's a lot, I'll leave it for you to spend. If there's nothing else, then I'll leave first. Yang Ming felt that although Chen Jie was hateful yesterday, he had the aura of a superior. Now it seemed that he was just pretending to be superior. Yang Ming guessed right about this. Chen Jie's aura yesterday was all learned from Kaik. He had just been the chairman for a few days. How could he cultivate the aura of a superior? He had been acting like a grandson in front of Kaik before, so he immediately revealed his true colors after being provoked by Yang Ming. Moreover, although Chen Jie was very rich, his consciousness had not changed yet. He used to act like a grandson, but he did not spend money extravagantly. He always thought that he was working for others. He might be fired one day, so he had to save money so that he would not have no savings when he lost his job. Therefore, the price he gave Yang Ming was based on his previous thoughts. Some small farmers felt that 1 million was a lot, but compared with his hundreds of millions of wealth, this was really nothing. Wait. How could Chen Jie let Yang Ming go like this? His purpose of looking for Yang Ming had not been achieved yet. If he let Yang Ming go like this, wouldn't it be a waste of effort? Is there anything else? Yang Ming asked without looking back. Well, I underestimated you just now. You name a price. How about 5 million? Chen Jie took a deep breath and temporarily suppressed the anger in his heart. After Yang Ming left Qin Mengyan, it would not be too late to deal with him. He suddenly increased the price by 5 times because he wanted to give Yang Ming a sensory shock. 5 million. Can you change your wife's mind if you take out 5 million? The sarcasm on Yang Ming's face became stronger. Do you think that money is omnipotent? Yang Ming, that's another matter. I'm asking you now. Why do you keep mentioning my ex-wife? Chen Jie was about to explode. Why does Yang Ming talk so much nonsense? Just tell me if 5 million is enough or not. If it's not enough, I'll add more. You don't have to go back and forth like this, right? Well, then you answer me first. Can you get your ex-wife back with your money? Yang Ming didn't answer Chen Jie's words at all, but continued to ask. I said that these are two different things. First, my ex-wife doesn't know that I have so much money now. Second, my ex-wife has remarried. It's not like a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship like yours that can be separated at any time. Chen Jie felt that his head was about to explode. He endured the danger of explosion and explained to Yang Ming. I'm afraid that your ex-wife won't do anything if she knows that you have so much money because the one she found later is also very rich. He may not be as rich as you, but when money reaches a certain level, it can only be a string of numbers. Yang Ming said with a smile, if you can buy it, he can also buy it. No matter how much money you have, can you buy everything in the world and put it at home? Of course, you can't. You can only choose what you like. You motherfucker. Chen Jie finally couldn't help but fly into a rage. Yang Ming, is it meaningful for you to say so much to me? Tell me, how much money do you need to leave Qin Mengyan? Why don't you ask Qin Mengyan how much money she needs to leave me? Asked Yang Ming. Chen Jie was speechless for a while. He already knew from Qin Xiaolong that Qin Xiaolong had tested Qin Mengyan a few times yesterday. The results were not very good, so Chen Jie decided to start with Yang Ming. However, Qin Xiaolong would also work on both sides at the same time. When Chen Jie made an appointment with Yang Ming, Qin Xiaolong also went to find Qin Mengyan. Don't talk about those useless things. Say a number. Chen Jie roared. After so long, you still don't understand. Yang Ming shook his head. My son is retarded, and I am not smart. No wonder the child's mother ran away. Yang Ming's words could be said to be extremely sinister. He scolded 3 people at once. Chen Jie's face had turned purple. If he wasn't afraid of Yang Ming's thugs at the door, he would have already slapped Yang Ming. Yang Ming, what do you mean? Are you playing with me? Asked Chen Jie with a pale face. I didn't play with you. You didn't understand what I meant from beginning to end. Yang Ming sighed. I have already said before that I am not short of money, but you still talk to me about 1 million or 5 million. I don't understand. Do you not understand me, or do you think I am lying to you? You. Chen Jie was so angry that he couldn't speak. Moreover, I wanted to leave here several times, but you didn't let me go. How did it become me playing with you? Yang Ming shook his head. Do you have money? I have already investigated. Your father, Yang Dehai, is a laid-off worker. I was the leader of his workshop. Now, the factory has closed down. Chen Jie said hoarsely, your mother has never had a job. She is a temporary worker. Chen Xiaolong told me all this. What money do you have? Oh, you are right. Yang Ming nodded. I have never denied the work my parents used to do, and I don't think it is shameful to be laid off. However, you have said so much, but you have neglected one person. In my family, besides my parents, there is also me. Chapter 1574. You. Chen Jie was slightly stunned. He looked at Yang Ming inexplicably. What do you mean by you? Is there something special about you? Aren't you a student at Songjiang Industry University? Yeah, I didn't say I wasn't. Yang Ming shrugged. However, I'm afraid you haven't figured out my other identities or how many assets I have. You have assets. Could it be that you won the lottery? You don't care about this 5 million. Chen Jie frowned. He naturally didn't think that Yang Ming's money came from business or other channels. In his opinion, Yang Ming was a freshman. Even if he had money, this money was probably a gift from the heavens. It was impossible for Yang Ming to earn it himself. First of all, he thought that Yang Ming was just a student. It was impossible for him to do business. Secondly, Yang Ming's parents were both laid-off workers. They didn't have any resources and channels. Even if Yang Ming did business, he could only open a small shop or something. It was basically impossible to earn 5 million. Although 5 million was not a lot in Chen Jie's eyes, it was an amount that most people couldn't earn in a lifetime. Therefore, if Yang Ming didn't care about 5 million, there was only one possibility. That was, Yang Ming had won the lottery. Only this possibility would be accepted by Chen Jie. Won the lottery. Yang Ming couldn't help but laugh when he heard Chen Jie's words. Yes, I bought the lottery and did win the prize. When Chen Jie heard Yang Ming admit it, his face immediately showed a look of understanding. He had an expression that said, look, it's true. But I didn't win the first prize, but the third prize, 60,000 yuan. Yang Ming immediately added. Only 60,000 yuan. Chen Jie didn't believe it. Then how much do you think it is? Asked Yang Ming. Then, you only have 60,000 yuan. You actually think that 5 million is too little. Chen Jie frowned. He didn't know what Yang Ming meant. I said that I won 60,000 yuan, but who told you that I only have 60,000 yuan? Yang Ming looked at Chen Jie and curled his lips. You. Chen Jie felt that Yang Ming's words were too irritating. He didn't finish his words at once. It really made him feel anxious. What? Yang Ming spread his hands innocently. You asked me if I won the lottery. Is there anything wrong with me saying that I won 60,000 yuan? Okay. Then tell me, where else can you get money? Chen Jie was about to faint. He rolled his eyes and asked. If he wasn't afraid of the large group of people that Yang Ming had ambushed at the door, he would have already fallen out with Yang Ming. However, because of the previous example of the two bodyguards, Chen Jie didn't dare to act rashly. He was afraid that Yang Ming would call people to beat him up. That would be a disaster. I really don't know if you are deliberately pretending to be stupid, or you really don't understand. Yang Ming sighed and said, you are such an idiot. How did you become a billionaire? Oh, yes, I heard that you used to flatter a foreigner. Then, the foreigner returned to China and left the company to you. Is that right? Fuck. Chen Jie was so angry that he trembled. He blurted out a curse, but quickly stopped halfway. This Yang Ming has a group of people. If I scold him, he will take the opportunity to fix me. Then, the loss outweighs the gain. So, he took 2 deep breaths and calmed himself down. Now tell me, how much money do you have? Don't talk about those useless things. Oh, that's right. Yang Ming smiled apologetically. I'm sorry, Xiao Rui. I really feel it. Seeing that you are such an idiot, I have to say a few words of praise. Humph. Chen Jie thought, when I figure out Yang Ming's matter, I must find a chance to mess with him. Originally, Chen Jie planned to give Yang Ming a sum of money to let him leave Qinmengyan. He didn't want to have anything to do with him in the future. But now, Chen Jie felt that if he didn't mess with Yang Ming, it would be difficult to resolve the hatred in his heart. Didn't I say before? This is my territory. Yang Ming looked at Chen Jie and said, you can't not understand this sentence, right? My territory, understand. You want to say that you are the local tyrant of Songjiang. Chen Jie frowned. Damn, Yang Ming was speechless. Jie, your IQ has reached an amazing level. Yang Ming, don't think that I am afraid of you just because I am talking to you nicely now. If I didn't want to solve this matter peacefully, do you think that you can do anything to me with just a few people at your door? Chen Jie finally couldn't help but burst out, if I make a call, the hotel's security will arrive immediately. Your people are entangled here. It is obvious that they are up to no good. What do you think will happen to them? Sorry, the person who took the lead just now is the security captain here. Yang Ming said apologetically, you are really retarded. This Songjiang International Hotel is my territory. This is my industry. You still don't understand this truth. What did you say? Chen Jie looked at Yang Ming in disbelief. His eyes widened and were full of doubt. This place is yours. If it's not mine, how can it be called my territory? Yang Ming smiled and looked at Chen Jie. Otherwise, how can I come here alone? Do you think I am stupid? Chen Jie's expression became uncertain. This time, he was really shocked. This Songjiang International Hotel actually belongs to Yang Ming. This was something that Chen Jie couldn't believe. However, since Yang Ming said so, Chen Jie didn't think that Yang Ming was lying to him. After all, this matter could be known as long as he inquired about it. Moreover, Yang Ming didn't have to lie to him about this. If this hotel was Yang Ming's, then Yang Ming naturally wouldn't care about the 5 million yuan. With the size and location of this hotel, the total value was probably more than 100 million yuan. What was 5 million yuan? However, how could Yang Ming own such a big industry? How is this possible? Aren't his parents laid off workers? Isn't Yang Ming just a hooligan student? Wait. Punk. Chen Jie frowned. It was possible for a punk to open an entertainment city in the end, and then a hotel. This also followed the law of the market. Could it be that Yang Ming was the lucky one? There were cases where a punk became a big boss. There were a few in every city. They used to be punks on the streets, but they eventually became tycoons through hard work. Well, Yang Ming, since this hotel is yours, then it's my mistake. Chen Jie sighed. The market value of this hotel is probably a few 100 million yuan. You really don't care about 5 million yuan. You only know now. Yang Ming looked at Chen Jie and said sarcastically, now, can I go? Okay, you can go. Chen Jie knew that his plan today was completely ruined. After he knew that this hotel was Yang Ming's industry, he gave up the idea of tempting Yang Ming with money. He also knew that no matter what he said today, he would not achieve his goal. However, he didn't intend to let Yang Ming go just like that. The humiliation that Yang Ming gave him today, he would definitely return it in the future. Although Yang Ming now had the qualifications to be on equal footing with him, he was not alone. He had a backer. Behind him was Kaik, the young patriarch of the big family. People should know how to face their own abilities. Yang Ming seemed to see Chen Jie's unwillingness. He smiled ambiguously. I hope you can really give up so that we will have nothing to do with each other in the future. What do you mean? Chen Jie's face became ugly again. Are you threatening me or warning me? I'm just saying it casually. Why do you think so much? Yang Ming shook his head. If you really don't have any ulterior motives in your heart, you can just pretend that I didn't say anything. However, if you really have any bad intentions, then you can take what I just said as a threat or a warning. It doesn't matter. I just want to tell you not to be caught in a trap of your own making. It wasn't easy for you to achieve what you have today. If you ruin it, then it will be too late for regrets. Chapter 1575. You are still threatening me. Chen Jie understood the meaning of Yang Ming's words. Yang Ming, although you also have hundreds of millions of assets, some people and some things are not as simple as what you see on the surface. Do you think you have the qualifications to be on equal footing with me? I might as well tell you that I also have a backer behind me. Backer? Well, do whatever you want. Yang Ming didn't want to argue with Chen Jie. He turned around and prepared to leave. I have said what I should say. You can think whatever you want. Well, Yang Ming, since you don't know how to appreciate favors, then we will wait and see. Knowing that this hotel belonged to Yang Ming, Chen Jie was relieved. He thought that Yang Ming wouldn't mess around in his hotel, nor would he let the security guards at the door come in and do anything to him. Yang Ming shrugged and didn't reply. He walked out of the room quickly and closed the door behind him. In a blink of an eye, he saw the security captain, Xiao Zhang, who was still standing at the door. Brother Yang. Xiao Zhang saw Yang Ming come out and quickly greeted him. Xiao Zhang. Why are you still here? Yang Ming wasn't surprised. After all, he had used his special ability to probe before. Xiao Zhang had been waiting for him at the door. It was just that this special ability couldn't be revealed, so he asked this question. Brother Yang, I ordered people to take those two guys away. I was afraid that you still had something to do, so I waited here. I didn't hinder you, right? Xiao Zhang quickly apologized. Nothing. Yang Ming shook his head. Where are those two people? They are now locked in the basement, Xiao Zhang said. Brother Yang, you didn't say how to deal with them, so I didn't dare to act rashly. Yang Ming was very satisfied with Xiao Zhang being so obedient, so he said, find a few brothers to teach them a lesson and let them go. It's useless to catch them. Do you expect us to provide food for them? Hee, that's true. When they are hungry, let them order from the hotel. It can be considered as generating revenue for the hotel. Xiao Zhang nodded and responded. The position of the hotel security director is still empty. How about this? You can be the deputy director for now. After a while, you can find someone to take over your position as the captain and become the official. Yang Ming recognized Xiao Zhang's performance today, so Yang was not stingy with people who sincerely worked for him. Thank you, Brother Yang. Xiao Zhang didn't expect that he would be so lucky. He was still envious of little Wang this morning. In the blink of an eye, he was also promoted. Perhaps, he was the fastest person to be promoted in history. He was promoted to the deputy director of the hotel's security department after being the security captain for less than a day. As a matter of fact, the deputy director of the security department, was one of the company's senior leaders. He usually didn't need to be on duty. He just had to sit in the office. Moreover, the authority was much greater. Not only did he manage the security team, but the hotel's gym, swimming pool, and other places were also managed by the security department. He was much better than the previous security captain. Yang Ming waved his hand. Do a good job. Don't let me down. Don't worry, Brother Yang. Xiao Zhang quickly expressed his determination. I will work hard and live up to your expectations. Yang Ming nodded. Well, go back to work. I will talk to Bao Sonli about this, but I have to leave now. Brother Yang, take care. Xiao Zhang said quickly. Yang Ming signaled that he didn't need to follow and entered the elevator by himself. Looking at Chen Jiye's reaction in the last few words, it seems that he hasn't given up. Although I gave him some shock today, it was obviously not enough. Chen Jiye probably won't give up. Yang Ming sighed. Some people just can't look at themselves. They don't know how to act according to their abilities. They just have to do something beyond their abilities. When they regret it, it will be too late. In Yang Ming's opinion, Chen Jiye was such a person. Although he had already hinted to him not to destroy his future and go against him, Chen Jiye obviously didn't listen. Instead, he felt that Yang Ming was threatening him, and he was even more unconvinced. As a result, it was foreseeable that Chen Jiye would do something else. This is the last chance I'm giving you. If you are still stubborn, then I have no other way. Yang Ming said to himself, I let you go this time because Uncle Qin also came from the Qin family village. Next time, I won't be merciful. I hope you know what you're doing and can pull yourself back from the brink. Yang Ming came out of the elevator and nodded to Manager Lu in the lobby. Then, he quickly left the hotel. He walked into the parking lot and just got in the car when the phone rang. It was Sun Jia. Hello, little Jia. Yang Ming picked up the phone. Yang Ming, I'm done with class. What happened before? Asked Sun Jia. Nothing. I just wanted to tell you that I'm back from outside. I'm now in Songjiang. When I called you just now, I was at school. I wanted to ask if you have time to have lunch together, said Yang Ming. Lunch? I'm afraid I can't make it at noon. I already have an appointment with someone, said Sun Jia apologetically. An appointment with someone? Is it Qing Qing? Yang Ming asked with a smile. If it's Qing Qing, then let's eat together. There is indeed Sister Qing Qing, but there is also a classmate from our graduate class. She has a good relationship with me and Sister Xiao Qing. Sun Jia said, we have already agreed to eat together at noon. If you come, it's not very good, right? If she sees something, how embarrassing would that be? If that's the case, then forget it. Let's do it another day. Yang Ming said with some regret. Let's do it at night. I'm free at night. I'll ask Sister Xiao Qing again if it's okay. Sun Jia thought about it and said. Well, let's contact by phone then. Yang Ming hadn't been intimate with Sun Jia for a long time. Thinking of Sun Jia's figure, Yang Ming couldn't help but swallow. Especially when he thought of Sun Jia and Xiao Qing together, he was even more restless. What's wrong? Are you unhappy? Sun Jia seemed to feel that Yang Ming's mood wasn't right, so she asked. It's nothing. I'm preparing to drive. Yang Ming said with some embarrassment. If it's nothing, then I'll hang up first. My classmate is coming over. Sun Jia said to Yang Ming with a smile. Okay, I'll contact you. Yang Ming heard someone calling Sun Jia's name on the other side of the phone, so he said. However, the voice calling Sun Jia's name on the other side seemed to be familiar. It seemed that he had heard it somewhere before. However, it wasn't very clear through the phone, especially since it wasn't said directly to the phone, but it came from a distance. Yang Ming recalled it slightly. He didn't think of anything, so he didn't take it seriously. After getting in the car, Yang Ming drove in the direction of the university. Yang Ming planned to find Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua to have a meal together at noon. He hadn't seen these two brothers for a long time. Zhang Bin, where are you? Yang Ming drove and called Zhang Bin. Damn, bro, it's really you. Zhang Bin suddenly shouted, I thought you disappeared a while ago. If I didn't see sister-in-law Meng Yan and know that you went out of town, I would have thought that you were taken away by aliens. You kid, you're not serious. Yang Ming listened to Zhang Bin's words and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I have something to do, so I went out for a while. I'm just saying it casually. Zhang Bin said with a smile, bro, I'm at the university. Why? What's the matter? Do you have something to do in a while? Let's have a meal together. Asked Yang Ming. Damn, what do you mean by do you have time? Bro has an appointment. No matter how important it is, I have to postpone it. Wait for me to give Cece a call. The two of us will definitely eat you up at noon. Zhang Bing said. And then you wait for me. I will be at the university in a while. Yang Ming said. Okay, wait for me to go to the toilet first and empty my stomach. Zhang Bin screamed. Yang Ming was helpless. My good brother is always such a clown. He has been like this since high school. Yang Ming hung up the phone call with Zhang Bin and dialed Tian Donghua's phone again. Bro. You finally remember me. Tian Donghua's resentful voice came from the phone. Chapter 1576. However, the way he addressed Yang Ming was the same as Zhang Bin. What do you mean by finally remembering you? Yang Ming sweated a little. You ignored me for so long. I thought you were going to abandon me. Tian Donghua sighed like a resentful woman. I went out a while ago. Yang Ming had no choice but to repeat what he just said to Zhang Bin to Tian Donghua. I had something to do. I just came back, I just said it casually. Tian Donghua's words were the same as Zhang Bin's. I'm just bored because the pressure at work is too great. Pressure at work? Yang Ming was stunned. I have started to learn and deal with the affairs of the Hongjun group. Tian Donghua said, otherwise, uncle's son can't handle it alone. It's too tiring every day. You are in Donghai now? Yang Ming asked, baffled. Yeah, I have been here for more than a week. Tian Donghua said, although I am very busy every day, it is very fulfilling. So you are in Donghai. I thought you were in Songjiang. Yang Ming said helplessly, I wanted to have lunch with you. Now it seems impossible. Lunch, forget it. It will take me more than an hour to drive back. I still have to drive fast. Tian Donghua said, if I take the old road, it will take more than 3 hours. Next time there is a chance. You don't have to come back. Yang Ming said with a smile, that's fine. You go ahead. Hee, bro, come and see your brother when you are free. I'm exhausted. Tian Donghua was now in pain and happy. Although he was tired every day, this feeling of fulfillment made him very satisfied. Yang Ming shook his head and hung up the phone. Sun Jie, here. Zhao Ying waved to Sun Jie, who was talking on the phone. Okay, I got it. Sun Jie said a few words to Yang Ming on the other side of the phone and hung up the phone. Zhao Ying, why are you so late? I have been waiting for you for a long time. Sun Jia walked in the direction of Zhao Ying. I came out a long time ago, but I couldn't bear to disturb you when you were talking on the phone so intimately. Zhao Ying joked, who is it? Could it be her boyfriend? Hee hee. Sun Jia smiled non-committally. Sister Xiaoqing hasn't come yet. Sister Xiaoqing is very busy. She said that she won't be coming. Zhao Ying shook her head. She seems to be busy with a project. I know. That wireless network protocol project. Sun Jia nodded. Then let's eat together. Don't worry about her. Sister Sun Jia, what do you want to eat? Asked Zhao Ying. Just the two of us. Feel free. We can go to the school cafeteria. I haven't eaten there for a long time. Sun Jia said after thinking about it. Then let's go to the cafeteria. Zhao Ying nodded. Sun Jia, Zhao Ying. What a coincidence. Sun Jia and Zhao Ying were talking when a handsome young man walked towards them. It was Fan Jinja, their graduate student in the computer science class. Chapter 1577. Hee hee. Yeah, what a coincidence. Sun Jia was much more generous than Zhao Ying. When she saw Fan Jinja coming over to strike up a conversation, she immediately replied. She especially emphasized the words, what a coincidence. Fan Jinja naturally heard the sarcasm in Sun Jia's words, and he suddenly looked a little embarrassed. To be honest, he had a good impression of both Sun Jia and Zhao Ying, but he liked Sun Jia more. There was no other reason. It was just that Sun Jia's figure was too hot, especially her huge breasts. This made Fan Jinja always fantasized about Sun Jia. As for Zhao Ying, although she was not inferior to Sun Jia in terms of appearance, her figure was slightly worse than Sun Jia's. However, Zhao Ying was more well-proportioned, and Sun Jia was more like a cow. After seeing Sun Jia's craftiness a few times, Fan Jinja knew that Sun Jia was not a simple woman. She was not so easy to fool and pursue, so Fan Jinja still rationally targeted Zhao Ying. In contrast, Zhao Ying was much more pure and shy. Especially since Fan Jinja had studied women's physiological conditions for a period of time, he could see that Sun Jia was no longer a virgin, but Zhao Ying was. Therefore, Fan Jinja targeted Zhao Ying even more. You haven't eaten lunch yet, right? Why don't we go together? Fan Jinja pretended not to hear the implied meaning in Sun Jia's words and invited, find a restaurant, my treat. No need, we'll eat in the cafeteria. Sun Jia shook her head and rejected Fan Jinja's kindness. Don't be in a hurry to reject. Zhao Ying hasn't said anything yet, right? Since Fan Jinja had already chosen a target, he did not care much about Sun Jia's thoughts and directly objected. I eat in the cafeteria with Sun Jia. Zhao Ying had to speak at this time. Although she hated Fan Jinja would definitely chatter endlessly if she did not express her opinion at this time. Fan Jinja was even more embarrassed. Then let's eat in the cafeteria. I also eat in the cafeteria. Do as you wish. Sun Jia glanced at him and sighed that there was really someone who was not afraid of death. If Yang Ming saw him pestering her, it would be good if he did not beat him until his grandma could not recognize him. So, Sun Jia and Zhao Ying walked in front while Fan Jinja walked behind them. It was a very strange situation. Why is he so irritating? Xiao. She was his target. Was he? Fan Jinja was. In the end, Yang Ming helped him. His target is you, Zhao Ying. I was just implicated. Sun Jia shrugged. However, Zhao Ying, you don't have a boyfriend. You might as well consider it. I heard that he opened a company outside of school. The scale is around a few million. He has an annual income of hundreds of thousands. Then why didn't you consider Sun Jie? Zhao Ying shook her head. Don't I have a boyfriend? You heard it when we were on the phone just now. Sun Jie said, as for you, I didn't see any intimate actions between you and any boy, me. AI. Zhao Ying sighed. Didn't I tell you before? I like a boy, but, me and him. Forget it, I won't say it. What's wrong? Why don't you say it? Sun Jie was a little curious when she heard Zhao Ying's words. This was the first time that Zhao Ying talked to her about feelings. In the past, Zhao Ying always avoided talking about this topic. Today, Zhao Ying revealed some of her inner thoughts. Nothing. Zhao Ying shook her head. Let's talk about it later. The person behind me is very annoying. With him around, how can I talk about other things? We will get rid of him when we reach the cafeteria. Sun Jie frowned. She didn't have any good way to deal with people like Fan Jinja. He was like a gum that couldn't be gotten rid of. Zhao Ying nodded. Both of them quickened their pace at the same time and walked toward the cafeteria. Behind them, Fan Jinja didn't know why the two of them quickened their pace, but he also quickened his pace and chased after them. After entering the cafeteria, Sun Jie found a table for two and sat down first. This way, she could avoid Fan Jinja sitting next to them shamelessly. Sure enough, Fan Jinja frowned when he saw Sun Jie choose a table for two. This damn woman, I am pursuing Zhao Ying, not you. Why are you following me? If it weren't for your beauty and good figure, I would have scolded you. Fan Jinja was unhappy, so he could only sit at the table next to Zhao Ying. Although they were more than a meter apart, at least they were close enough to look at each other. I'll reserve a seat here. Are you going to get the food? Sun Jie looked at Fan Jinja who followed her and asked. It's better for you to go. I'm afraid that I can't handle it when he comes up to pay for me. Zhao Ying said worriedly. Well, you stay here. I'll go buy it. Sun Jie said and was ready to stand up. What do you want to eat? Alfalfa, persimmons, and a small portion of rice. Said Zhao Ying. Is it that simple? Sun Jie asked puzzledly when she heard that Zhao Ying only ate so little. I can't eat too much for lunch. Zhao Ying shrugged and lowered her voice. Who can eat when there is a fly watching them? Hee, okay. Sun Jie couldn't help but smile when she heard Zhao Ying describe Fan Jinja as a fly. Chapter 1578. Sun Jie turned around to buy something. Fan Jinja hesitated, stood up, and followed her. Although he also wanted to talk to Zhao Ying here, he hadn't bought anything yet. It would be a dream if he wanted Sun Jie to buy something for him. Sun Jie, wait for me. Let's go together, Fan Jinja shouted to Sun Jie. Sun Jie ignored Fan Jinja and pretended not to hear him. Sun Jie was originally the little princess of Donghai who was not afraid of anything. Now that she had Yang Ming, no one dared to provoke her in Songjiang. Naturally, she would not give Fan Jinja any face. Sun Jie. Fan Jinja quickly sped up and caught up with her while panting, wait for me. Why didn't you hear me? Oh, the cafeteria is too noisy. Naturally, I didn't hear you, Sun Jie replied helplessly when she saw Fan Jinja catching up. In the current situation, Sun Jie naturally couldn't ignore him. After all, they were still classmates. There was no need to make their relationship too bad. Sun Jie, what do you want to eat? I'll buy it for you. Fan Jinja said heroically, I'm a man. This cafeteria is too crowded. It won't be easy for you girls to squeeze in. No need. I'll buy it myself, Sun Jia refused coldly. Moreover, there aren't many people now. Fan Jinja laughed dryly. Seeing that Sun Jia refused him, he had to follow behind. 2 sets of alfalfa persimmons. Sun Jia walked to the fast food window and said to the chef inside, 2 more boxes of rice. Okay. The chef was a pervert. Seeing Sun Jia's beauty and hot figure, he scooped 2 big spoons. The food on the plate almost popped out. Then, he handed it to Sun Jia with a smile. Student, please take it. Thank you. Sun Jia smiled sweetly at the chef. She took the plate and turned away. You're welcome. The chef looked at Sun Jia's graceful figure as she left, and his face showed a lecherous expression. I also want an alfalfa persimmon and a box of rice. When Fan Jinja saw Sun Jia leave, he didn't choose other dishes, so he asked for the exact same dish. He thought that if he ate the same dish as them, he might be able to gain their favor. The waiter was admiring Sun Jia's graceful back when he was suddenly interrupted by Fan Jinja. He frowned and said, What are you shouting for? I heard you. Fan Jinja didn't know how he had offended this great master. He was baffled. Just now, he was fine. When he faced Sun Jia, he was still smiling. How come when it came to me, he frowned? However, Fan Jinja was too lazy to talk to the chef. He swiped his card and waited for the chef to serve him the dishes. The chef was very upset that Fan Jinja interrupted him from looking at the beauty. So, when he served the dishes, he deliberately served less. Not to mention that it was not as much as Sun Jia, but it was even less than the normal amount. You gave her so much, why did you give me so little? Fan Jinja was a little unhappy when he saw the dish handed over by the chef. He was a man. This little bit was not enough for him. It would be fine if it was just a little bit less, but this is too little, isn't it? What's less? How much is a pound of persimmons now? How much is a pound of eggs now? Do you want it? If not, I'll go back. When the chef heard that Fan Jinja was still being picky, he was even more dissatisfied. He raised his eyebrows and was about to put the dish back into the bowl. Okay, then you get me another dish. Fan Jinja saw that the chef was angry and was too lazy to argue with him. He still had time to pick up girls. How could he have time to argue with him? Isn't it just a dish? It was 3 to 5 yuan. Fan Jinja was not short of money. The chef scooped a small spoonful of alfalfa persimmons into the plate, then handed it to Fan Jinja and said, Okay, I got you another dish. As Fan Jinja spoke, he swiped his meal card again. This. Fan Jinja was really going to go berserk this time. Isn't this too little? 2 servings is less than 1 serving for Sun Jia. What the hell is this? What is this? Are you going to take it or not? The chef saw that Fan Jinja did not take the plate, so he rolled his eyes and asked. Aren't you bullying me? Are you giving me 2 servings? Fan Jinja was considered a celebrity on campus. He had a company outside of campus. He was quite awesome wherever he went. When had he ever been bullied like this? If I say so, then so be it. The chef snorted and was a little impatient. I say, how can a man like you be so wishy-washy? Did you see how straightforward that little girl was? She didn't even say a word of nonsense, but you were super wishy-washy like a woman. Look at how glossy your clothes are. Don't tell me they're all fake and imitations. Fan Jinja wanted to curse. If he was not afraid that Zhao Ying would see him like this, he would definitely not let it go. He suppressed his anger and took a deep breath. Just as he was about to take the plate and forget about it, an accident happened. Master, give me a plate of alfalfa persimmons. A girl walked over, said to the chef, and swiped her card. Okay. The chef nodded, scooped another spoonful of food on Fan Jinja's plate, and handed it to the girl. For you. Thank you. The girl smiled sweetly and left with the plate. Fan Jinja's face immediately darkened. It was fine that Sun Jia bought a lot before, but the girl after that also bought so much. Moreover, there was an extra spoonful of food on his plate of 2 servings. How could Fan Jinja endure this? What do you mean? Fan Jinja was furious. Nothing. Do you want it? If not, give me your meal card. I will refund you. The chef said without looking up. Yes. Give me 3 servings of alfalfa persimmons and 2 boxes of rice. Fan Jinja endured it. This time, he asked for 3 servings and swiped his card again. Caw caw caw. The chef scooped 3 spoonfuls of food and handed them to Fan Jinja. When Fan Jinja saw this, he almost went crazy again. This time, the 3 servings were almost the same as the previous 2 servings. It seemed to be less. Give me 2 more servings of alfalfa persimmons. Fan Jinja thought, since I have endured it, I will continue to endure it. But you fat man, remember this. I will kill you if I have the chance. Caw caw. The chef scooped 2 more spoonfuls. This time, these 5 servings of food were barely the same as Sun Jia's and the girls. This made Fan Jinja feel like he was cheated. However, in this case, Fan Jinja could only accept it. There was no other way. Fan Jinja glared at the chef, carried the plate and rice, and walked towards Sun Jia and Zhao Ying. Idiot! The chef curled his lips and scolded. Fan Jinja heard it clearly. He staggered and almost dropped the plate in his hand. He thought, I gave him so much money, and he still scolded me for being an idiot. What kind of world is this? However, Fan Jinja was anxious to talk to Zhao Ying, so he didn't bother with the master anymore. This gigolo is so cowardly. He is messing with him, but he doesn't have any courage. He really has no guts. The chef shook his head. Fan Jinja already hated this chef to death. He thought, when I don't pick up girls next time, I will teach you a lesson. Fan Jinja walked to Sun Jia and Zhao Ying, but found that the table and chair next to them had been occupied by a man and a woman. They should be a couple. Fan Jinja frowned and thought, there are so many seats in this cafeteria. Why did you have to sit here? Aren't you creating trouble for me? Putting the plate and rice on the table, Fan Jinja said to the couple, can you change your seats? This is my seat. Your seat. The girl raised her head in confusion and looked at Fan Jinja. This is your seat. Why didn't I know? I sit here basically every day. When did this place become yours? Chapter 1579. I took the seat before. Fan Jinja explained patiently, I was sitting here before I went to get the food. That's funny. So it's yours just because you took the seat before. The girl was amused, then I said that I took the seat yesterday. I took the seat the day before yesterday. Is it still mine today? Classmate, can you change your seat? It's the same if you sit over there. Fan Jinja said while suppressing his anger. Why should I change my seat over there? Why don't you change your seat? Isn't it the same if you sit over there? The girl retorted. You are being unreasonable. Fan Jinja did not expect to be so unlucky today. First, he was tricked by the chef who served the dishes, then his seat was taken by someone else. The person who took the seat was still being unreasonable. I'm being unreasonable? Watch your words. Can you do it or not? This is a public cafeteria. Are you brainless? The girl frowned. It's only because of my current temper. If it was in the past, humph. So what if it was in the past? Are you threatening me? Fan Jinja was threatened by a girl in front of Sun Jia and Zhao Ying. He suddenly felt embarrassed. Why don't you find out who I am? I, Fan Jinja, am also famous in the school. Fuck your mother, are you done yet? The boy opposite the girl was really annoyed by Fan Jinja's nagging. He picked up the alfalfa persimmon on Fan Jinja's table and smashed it directly on Fan Jinja's face. Get out of here if you don't want to die. This boy was naturally Bai Hai, who came to the school to visit Gu Xinyao. The girl was naturally Gu Xinyao. The two of them finally had a meal in the school cafeteria and experienced the beauty of university life, but it was ruined by Fan Jinja. How could Bai Hai just let it go? Originally, Bai Hai did not want to cause trouble, but this Fan Jinja did not know what was good for him. In the end, he even bragged about how famous he was. Bai Hai could not help but give him a slap in the face with a plate. A plate of hot dishes was splashed all over Fan Jinja. His eyes and nose were full of vegetable soup. Fan Jinja was a little dumbfounded. He didn't expect that the boy sitting here would actually make a move without any warning. In an instant, he was in trouble. Wasn't this too fast? You. Fan Jinja pointed at Bai Hai. He was so angry that he couldn't speak. Who are you? If you have the guts to leave your name, Fan Jinja, will remember what happened today. I'm Bai Hai. Bai Hai said, but I don't study here. If you want to take revenge on me, you can look for Jin Gang first. He can find me. Li Jin Gang was an excellent student in the school's physical education department. He was strong and good at fighting. He was famous in the school. Fan Jinja naturally heard of Li Jin Gang's name. He even had a meal with Jin Gang through a friend. Fan Jinja's expression immediately changed when he heard Li Jin Gang's name. Since Bai Hai knew Li Jin Gang and said it so casually, the two must have a close relationship. Otherwise, everyone would call Li Jin Gang brotherly. At this moment, Fan Jinja was in a dilemma. How could he dare to offend Li Jin Gang? In this school, there were probably only a few people who were not afraid of Jin Gang. If it was a normal day, Fan Jinja would just say a few words and this matter would be over. He would not pursue it further. But today was different. Sun Jia and Zhao Ying were watching. If he gave in, wouldn't Zhao Ying and Sun Jia laugh at him? Thinking of this, Fan Jinja gritted his teeth. What Li Jin Gang? I don't know him. Don't say those useless things. You must apologize to me today. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving. What if I don't apologize? Bai Hai suddenly laughed after hearing it. Let's not talk about how you are looking for trouble. Even if I take the initiative to look for trouble with you, you have to accept it. Let's see what you can do to me today. Fan Jinja did not expect Bai Hai to be so tough. He really could not do anything for a while. After all, when it came to fighting, he knew that he was definitely not a match for the strong Bai Hai. I will count to 3. Get lost. Bai Hai frowned. 1, 2, I. Fan Jinja's face had turned into a purple eggplant. He felt that he had been humiliated, but he did not dare to resist. Zhao Ying, let's go. We won't eat here, Sun Jia said to Zhao Ying, feeling a little disgusted when she saw Fan Jinja on the side. Okay, let's go. Zhao Ying also nodded. She picked up the plate in her hand, stood up, and found another seat with Sun Jia, far away from Fan Jinja. When Fan Jinja saw that Sun Jia and Zhao Ying had left, it was meaningless for him to pretend to be the big brother here. So, he quickly said before Bai Hai said, 3, I'll go. I'll go now. After that, Fan Jinja left Bai Hai's table dejectedly. Sun Jia and Zhao Ying were now sitting in the crowd. There were more and more people in the cafeteria. There were already people around them. It was probably impossible for Fan Jinja to squeeze in. After experiencing the incident with Bai Hai, he did not dare to simply grab other people's seats. Moreover, even if there were seats, Fan Jinja would only increase Zhao Ying and Sun Jia's disgust if he went there now. Fan Jinja stomped his feet and walked out of the cafeteria bitterly. He thought, why am I so unlucky today? I must look at the calendar before going out in the future. Then Fan Jinja met a powerful person. Sun Jia shrugged and smiled. The two people over there helped you solve a big problem. He asked for it. He can't blame others. Who asked him to be so overbearing first? Zhao Ying had no sympathy for Fan Jinja. Okay, now that there are no outsiders around, you can tell me about your relationship, right? Sun Jia asked very nosily. Zhao Ying was suddenly embarrassed. She didn't expect Sun Jia to still remember this matter. However, she had already promised Sun Jia before, so it was not good to refuse at this time. She could only say, okay, then I'll tell you. But you can't tell others. Don't worry, I won't tell others, Sun Jia quickly promised. Actually, how do I put it? Zhao Ying sighed with some self-reproach. I do have a person I like, but he likes someone else, Sun Jia nodded. Regarding this, Zhao Ying vaguely mentioned it before, but it was not very detailed. You mean, he has a girlfriend, right? Zhao Ying saw that Sun Jia understood what she meant, so she nodded quickly. Then, does he like you? Asked Sun Jia. Zhao Ying blushed and lowered her head. She said in a very low voice, he should like me. Oh, I know. What you are struggling with is that he has a girlfriend, but he likes you. You like him, but because of his girlfriend, you can't be with him. Sun Jia nodded and said, is that so? Probably. Zhao Ying said with a red face. Then, does he like his current girlfriend? Sun Jia asked again, that is to say, do you have the confidence to let him break up with his girlfriend and be with you? Or, do you know why he is with his current girlfriend? Is it out of a sense of responsibility or something else? Break up. Zhao Ying smiled bitterly and shook her head. I'm afraid it's impossible. He also likes his girlfriend very much, and he doesn't only have one girlfriend. So strong. Sun Jia frowned and couldn't help but think of Yang Ming. I seem to have told you last time. Zhao Ying saw that Sun Jia's reaction was not big, and it was a bit strange. Most people would be more or less surprised when they heard this relatively shocking thing. It seems that you have said it before, right? Sun Jia couldn't remember whether Zhao Ying said it or not. However, such a man, you have to consider it. If you decide to choose, don't regret it. If you feel that you can't accept it, then don't continue to develop before you are together. I have decided. I won't regret it. Zhao Ying nodded firmly. However, after that, she felt a little embarrassed. She was so shy that she blushed. Chapter 1580. I really don't know what to say to you. Since you have decided, why aren't you together yet? Sun Jia nodded helplessly. Why does Zhao Ying have the same fate as me? Could it be that beautiful women can't escape this fate? Or are there really too few excellent men? However, since Sun Jia and Yang Ming were together, naturally, she didn't feel that there was anything wrong with Zhao Ying having a similar situation as herself. I used to be his teacher. Zhao Ying's words were shocking. Moreover, I was also his girlfriend's teacher. Although I'm not now, His girlfriend's concept can't be changed in a short time. She shouldn't accept me, you're his teacher. Sun Jia opened her mouth and felt that this was too much of a coincidence. Why does it sound more and more like Yang Ming and Xiao Qing? It was just that Sun Jia didn't say it out loud. Yeah. I used to be. I was his high school teacher. Xiao Ying nodded. Oh my god. Sun Jia was a little dizzy. He is so much younger than you. This is too similar to the relationship between myself, Xiao Qing, and Yang Ming. Sun Jia really had a feeling of a bosom friend. He's not too young. Xiao Ying was a little embarrassed, but since the words had already been said, she naturally let go of her shyness. I also resigned because of him, and then I was admitted to our school as a graduate student. You don't want to tell me that he is a student of our school, right? Sun Jia really wanted to say that in the world, there really was such a thing as, if there is a similarity, it is purely a coincidence. Xiao Ying nodded. Okay, I won't say it. If I say it again, you will get me to say it. Even if you say it again, I don't know him. Sun Jia shook her head helplessly. How long have I stayed in school? Except for a few graduate students, how can I know anyone else? That's also true, but, I really don't know what to do now. Xiao Ying sighed. On the one hand, I really want to be with him. On the other hand, every time I make a decision, take the initiative, something like this always happens, interrupting the matter. Then, I don't have the courage. Isn't this very confusing and unlucky? Oh my god. Sun Jia listened to Xiao Ying's rough love history and was somewhat speechless. Since he likes you, why didn't he take the initiative to chase you? Chase. I did chase him. Xiao Ying sighed. But when he chased me, I retreated. I really don't know what to say about you. A girl like you is really the best. How can you have such a messy relationship like yours? Sun Jia shook her head angrily. You belong to the group of people who don't leave but fight back. What is that? Xiao Ying blinked her eyes and was somewhat baffled. Donkey, said Sun Jia. Xiao Ying was slightly stunned and suddenly complained, You dare to say that I am a donkey? I will ignore you. It's just a joke. Sun Jia smiled. It's just a metaphor. How about this? When you and your little boyfriend go on a date, call me, and I will help you. This kind of thing is actually very simple. Both of you love each other, and there is nothing more than a window paper in between. That isn't very good, right? Xiao Ying hesitated, but there was some expectation in her heart. If Sun Jia could really help her to break the window paper, it would be a good thing. What's not good about it? Sun Jia said, If you think that only I am more awkward, then I will call my boyfriend. Then, we will be more open with 2 men and 2 women. That works too. Xiao Ying thought about it and agreed. Then, I will trouble you. What trouble? Isn't this a piece of cake? Sun Jia smiled. Why don't we do it tonight? It just so happens that I am going out for dinner with my boyfriend tonight. You can also call your student. Stop it. What student? He is not a student for a long time. We are now classmates. Xiao Ying corrected. Okay. A student is a student. Sun Jia smiled. The 2 people talked and laughed for a while, then they left the cafeteria and went to their respective classrooms. Yang Ming looked at the slowing traffic in front of him and frowned. There should be an accident in front. There was no barrier in the middle of this road, and it was relatively narrow. Only 2 cars could pass each other on the left and right. If a car wanted to rush or overtake, it was easy to have an accident. Yang Ming struggled to get to a place a distance away from the accident scene. He was a little bored, so he used his special ability to look in the direction of the accident. At first glance, he couldn't help but be happy. He actually saw an acquaintance. Chen Xiaolong was standing in front of a brand new red BMW 3 Series without a license plate at the moment. He yelled at a taxi driver, "Do you know what kind of car this is?" "BMW. Why don't you give in to me with your broken Jetta? Do you know how to drive?" It was no wonder that Chen Xiaolong was angry. He had just taken out a brand new red BMW 3 Series sedan from the BMW 4S shop. He was going to show it off in front of Qin Mengyan, and then give the car to Qin Mengyan to win a good impression. He didn't believe that Qin Mengyan didn't like famous cars. When the time came, he was not afraid that Qin Mengyan would not be tempted. He had already made an appointment with his father, Qin Zhiye. The two of them would work together. Qin Zhiye would start from Yang Ming's side, and Chen Xiaolong would start from Qin Mengyan's side. However, it was almost 12 o'clock when he finished picking up the car. Chen Xiaolong was a little anxious. The lunch break was about to end. He didn't know if Qin Mengyan had classes in the afternoon. It would be fucked if he couldn't see Qin Mengyan. Therefore, Chen Xiaolong had to hurry and overtake all the cars. However, when he was changing lanes to overtake the cars in the opposite direction, he was suddenly hit by a Jetta taxi from the opposite direction. Although both cars braked at the same time, it was still too late. In the end, they collided. "Obviously, you were the one who was going in the opposite direction. How can you blame me?" The taxi driver was a little aggrieved. However, looking at Chen Xiaolong's arrogant appearance, there was no doubt that he was a second generation. The taxi driver couldn't afford to provoke such a person. Besides, if you hit me, just solve it. "Why are you yelling?" "Yelling? I want to scold you too. Do you know that you've ruined my plans?" Chen Xiaolong said with a frown, "I'm in a hurry to see my girlfriend." "You fucking hit my car. Fuck your grandpa." The taxi driver frowned, "Why are you scolding me? The responsibility of this accident is clearly yours. Are you being reasonable?" "Scold you? Just because my car is a BMW, which is better than yours, I'll scold you," Chen Xiaolong said arrogantly. After saying that, he added, "What? You don't accept it? If your car is better than mine, then you can scold me too. You're too unreasonable. Even if your car is a good car, you don't have to be like this, right?" The taxi driver was very angry. "Even if you have money, you can't bully people like this, right? So what if I bully you? It's good that I didn't hit you." Chen Xiaolong snorted coldly, "Let me tell you, you're too lucky today. My two bodyguards didn't follow me. Otherwise, they would have beaten you up so badly that even your mother wouldn't recognize you." "You." The taxi driver had never seen such an arrogant young man. It was clearly his responsibility to hit others, but he still had such words. "Call the police. When the police come, we'll know who's responsible." "Hey, whatever. Isn't it just repairing a car? How much is this broken car of yours? I'll just buy you a new one," Chen Xiaolong said proudly. "If you continue to dawdle, I'll smash the car for you." When the taxi driver heard Chen Xiaolong's words, he was extremely angry, but there was nothing he could do. However, when Yang Ming saw the appearance of the taxi driver, he couldn't help but be stunned. He hadn't noticed it before, but now that he took a closer look, he realized that it was actually an acquaintance. Here, he was actually able to see two acquaintances, which surprised Yang Ming. Chapter 1581. Yang Ming smiled and parked the car at the temporary parking line on the side of the road. Then, he took out a large wrench from the trunk and walked in Chen Xiaolong's direction. Chen Xiaolong was in a rage with the taxi driver, so he naturally did not see Yang Ming coming over. When Yang Ming walked in front of him, Chen Xiaolong still did not notice because he was already surrounded by onlookers. He did not care and continued to slap the hood of the Jetta taxi while pointing at the taxi driver and shouting, "Look, look, your broken car is still an old model of Jetta. How can it be compared to my BMW? If you were a Mercedes-Benz, even if it was an Audi, I wouldn't say anything if you hit me. The key is that your car is too broken. You don't even know how to drive. If I were you, I would feel inferior." The taxi driver stood there helplessly with a bitter smile on his face. He could only wait for the traffic police and the insurance company to deal with the problem. He did not answer because he knew that a second generation like Chen Xiaolong was very arrogant. Even if he answered, it would be useless. On the contrary, it would make him scold him even more fiercely. The taxi driver thought that he might as well not speak. After scolding for a while, he would shut up when he was tired. But who knew that when Chen Xiaolong saw that the taxi driver did not speak, he scolded even more fiercely, "Do you have fucking eyes? Let me tell you, not to mention that my car hit your car, even if I smash your car, I will compensate you with a new one. But can you afford my time? I am a person of status. I am very nervous every minute. How can a small figure like you compare to me?" Clang! With a loud sound, as soon as Chen Xiaolong finished speaking, Yang Ming smashed the glass of Chen Xiaolong's BMW with a wrench. The windshield, which had not been covered with an explosion-proof film, was immediately smashed into pieces. Chen Xiaolong heard the loud sound and immediately turned around, only to see Yang Ming holding a wrench and looking at him with a smirk. Chen Xiaolong was about to go crazy. Wasn't he called by his father? How could he still appear here? Isn't this too fucked up? You, Yang Ming, what are you going to do? Chen Xiaolong's car was just bought and was hit by a taxi. Although it was not very serious, it already made his heart ache. Now that Yang Ming directly smashed the windshield, Chen Xiaolong's heart was bleeding. "My car, this is the car that I used to chase Chen Mengyan." However, Chen Xiaolong's words, Chen Xiaolong's car, he did not dare to scold his mother like he did to the taxi driver, he did not dare to provoke of the situation. But Yang Ming. The taxi driver was Sun Kuan. Yang Ming met the taxi driver when he was in high school. He sent Yang Ming and Zhao Ying home. He also sent Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan home. After that, Yang Ming had his own car, so he did not need to take Sun Kuan's car anymore. In addition, Yang Ming was getting busier and busier. He had no time to do other things, so he did not contact Sun Kuan for a long time. However, he did not expect to meet Sun Kuan here. Sun Kuan was obviously very surprised as well. He had a deep friendship with Yang Ming before, but they gradually drifted apart. He thought that it was because Yang Ming went to university, so he disdained to be with them. He did not take it too seriously. Occasionally, he would think of the past and feel a little emotional. At this time, he suddenly met Yang Ming again, and Yang Ming obviously came to help him. This made Sun Kuan very moved. It seemed that Yang Ming did not forget him. This kid is an idiot. There is a problem with his IQ. He is like his father. His family has some money, so he doesn't know how to show off. Yang Ming pointed at Chen Xiaolong and said to Sun Kuan. "Ha!" Sun Kuan couldn't help but laugh when he heard Yang Ming's words. He felt very comfortable when he heard Yang Ming scolding Chen Xiaolong. After all, he had been scolded by Chen Xiaolong for a while, so he had a stomach full of anger. When Chen Xiaolong heard Yang Ming calling him an idiot, although he was angry, he did not dare to say anything. Yang Ming dared to go against 7th grandfather Qin in front of all the guests of the Qin family village. Chen Xiaolong was not as ruthless as Yang Ming. "Yang Ming, why did you smash my car?" Chen Xiaolong asked while holding his breath. Oh, nothing. I want to do it. Yang Ming shrugged. You. Chen Xiaolong really felt like Sun Kun at this moment. He dared to be angry but did not dare to say anything. It was really too cowardly. Didn't you say it? My car is better than yours, so I can hit your car and smash your car. Didn't you say this? Yang Ming patted the wrench in his hand and looked at the crowd with a smile. He said this, right? Everyone heard it, right? These onlookers were angry at Chen Xiaolong's behavior before, but they didn't dare to say anything. Now that a strong person suddenly appeared and extinguished Chen Xiaolong's anger, these people were naturally very happy and clapped their hands in their hearts. At this time, when they heard Yang Ming's question, although they were not willing to offend Chen Xiaolong, Yang Ming was stronger. Especially when they saw the big wrench in Yang Ming's hand, they could only agree and say, yes, he said it. Once someone spoke first, the others did not care. They all said, yes, that's right. He said that as long as the car is better than his, it doesn't matter even if his car is smashed. Chen Xiaolong's face turned green. He did not expect that the people who did not say anything and looked like they were watching the show would now support Yang Ming. However, Chen Xiaolong was not stupid. At this time, Yang Ming was strong. Of course, everyone supported Yang Ming. He did not want to cause public anger and be beaten up by a group of people. Well, even if I said this, where is your car? Do you have a car? Chen Xiaolong asked with a sullen face. Don't tell me that you have a bicycle. You will know soon whether I have one or not. Yang Ming said faintly, since you really want to know whether I have a car or not, then I will fulfill your wish. After that, Yang Ming turned and left, then walked to his car. The onlookers didn't think much of it. When they saw Yang Ming walking towards a BMW X5, they had a look of understanding on their faces. In their opinion, since Yang Ming dared to go against Chen Xiaolong, he must be more powerful than Chen Xiaolong. However, Chen Xiaolong's face was gloomy. He looked at Yang Ming in disbelief. He did not believe that Yang Ming had any car that was more high-end than his, so he asked like this before. But when he saw Yang Ming actually walking to a BMW X5, he suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. As for Sun Kun, although he was a little surprised, it was not too much. He had already seen that Yang Ming was extraordinary. He would be successful in the future, so he did not have any special feelings about Yang Ming having his own car. Under Chen Xiaolong's disbelief, he still saw Yang Ming open the door of the BMW with the remote control. Chen Xiaolong's face became extremely ugly. Indeed, he said before that if the car was better than his, he could even smash his car. But that was only for Sun Kun. It was based on the premise that Sun Kun's car was worse than his car, so he dared to say such nonsense. Moreover, he did not think that anyone would stand up for Sun Kun at this time. After all, it was not related to them. Who would help Sun Kun and lead the trouble to themselves? However, he never dreamed that he would actually meet Yang Ming here so coincidentally, and Yang Ming really interfered. Originally, he just thought that Yang Ming had a conflict with him, so he took the opportunity to retaliate against him. So, he used words to pressure him and told him that he said that he could only smash the car if the car was better than his. He, Yang Ming, did not have a car, so he should leave as soon as possible. Therefore, he asked before in order to let this evil star get out of here quickly and not get involved here. However, he did not expect that Yang Ming actually drove a BMW X5. Although it was also a BMW, the difference between the two was too big. One was at the level of 300,000 yuan, and the other was at the level of 1 million yuan. Even people who did not understand cars could tell the difference between the two. Chapter 1582. Yang Ming started the car and drove straight to Qin Xiaolong's side. Then, he directly hit the other side of Qin Xiaolong's car. Initially, only one side was dented by Sun Quan's car. Now, the other side was also hit by Yang Ming. Yang Ming's car had been hit many times, so he didn't care too much. Moreover, Yang Ming just wanted to teach Qin Xiaolong a lesson. You. Yang Ming, you. Qin Xiaolong pointed at Yang Ming, who was sitting in the driver's seat. He said, you, several times, but he couldn't say why. In the past, he was traumatized by Yang Ming. Moreover, he was especially frightened by Yang Ming's fearless and unscrupulous look yesterday. Qin Xiaolong was sure that if he provoked Yang Ming now, he would definitely be beaten up. Therefore, although he was very angry at the moment, he had a feeling that he could only bite the bullet and swallow his anger. You hit Brother Kuen's car, and I hit your car. This way, we are even. Brother Kuen doesn't need you to compensate. You can repair your car yourself. Yang Ming glanced at Qin Xiaolong and said. Qin Xiaolong scolded Yang Ming's 18 generations of ancestors in his heart. However, he didn't dare to say anything on the surface. He could only stare at Yang Ming. He wanted to kill Yang Ming with his eyes. Sun Quan didn't expect Qin Xiaolong to repair his car. He couldn't afford to provoke such an arrogant and despotic person. Why couldn't he avoid him? Long before Yang Ming came, he had the idea of retreating. The car wasn't seriously damaged, but it didn't need to be repaired. It was just a piece of paint on the front. Therefore, when he heard Yang Ming say this, his heart was suddenly relieved. Brother Kuan, drive. Let's go. Don't waste time with him. Yang Ming said to Sun Quan. Okay. Sun Quan responded and didn't care about Qin Xiaolong. He jumped into the car and followed behind Yang Ming's car. They slowly drove away from the scene. Qin Xiaolong was unhappy. He looked at the two cars that were far away and spat on the ground. His plan to flirt with Qin Mengyan was ruined. The car was already in such a state. Who was he going to give it to? Even if he gave it away, he couldn't do it. Thinking that Yang Ming's father-in-law, Chen Fei, was the chief of the Songjiang police station, and that he was in the wrong in the first place, it would be useless to call the police. Qin Xiaolong had to admit that he was unlucky and jumped into the car. He was ready to go back to the 4S shop to get the car repaired. Qin Xiaolong reckoned that he was the unluckiest person. He had just picked up the car and had to go back to get it repaired. He hadn't even settled down yet, and such a thing had happened. He was really unlucky. This person bullies the weak and fears the strong. The onlookers saw that Qin Xiaolong was tricked by Yang Ming. He didn't dare to say a word and was ready to escape like a turtle. They all commented. Yeah, this kind of person is like this. I think that evil people need to be dealt with by evil people. You see that he was very arrogant. Now that a more powerful person came, this kid was scared. Another person in the crowd nodded and agreed. I thought that a taxi driver was easy to bully, but I didn't expect him to have a more powerful friend. The other people in the crowd also said, look, this kid is finished in an instant. Yeah. Another person also said, look at this kid's car. It's a BMW 3 Series. I know this car is only around 300,000. His X5 is more than 1 million. Of course, he is scared. Qin Xiaolong listened to the sarcastic words of the crowd outside the car window. A burst of anger surged in his heart. He opened the car door and shouted at the crowd who were making sarcastic remarks, look at your heads. Get the hell out of here. When the crowd saw that Qin Xiaolong was angry, they were stunned. TSK, what's there to be proud of? Why don't you show off in front of the kid just now? At this time, one of the people in the crowd said, "You are just pretending to be a bird in front of us ordinary people. What kind of ability is that?" "You're right." Once someone took the lead, the others followed. "We are just watching you make a fool of yourself." "What's wrong with that? Do you want to beat people up?" "Let me tell you, we are not afraid of you. If you have the ability, then go ahead." Chen Xiaolong saw that everyone was unanimously pointing the spear at him. He glared at the crowd, but he didn't dare to do anything excessive. He got into the car and slammed the door. Then, he clenched his fist and slammed it on the steering wheel. "Yang Ming, remember this. I will definitely teach you a lesson." Beep beep. Chen Xiaolong started the car and honked twice to disperse the onlookers. Then, he drove in the direction of the 4S store. Yang Ming parked the car in front of a street food stall seafood restaurant. Sun Quan also followed Yang Ming to stop the car. To be honest, Sun Quan's heart was very uneasy now that he met Yang Ming again. At this moment, Yang Ming was obviously not the poor student in the past. Although he felt that Yang Ming was still as kind and cheerful as before, and the way he treated Chen Xiaolong was the same as Yang Ming in the past, Sun Quan had a feeling of fear and trepidation. "Brother Quan, I didn't expect to meet you here." Yang Ming got out of the car, locked the car, and said to Sun Quan behind him. "Yang Ming. What are you doing now?" Sun Quan looked at Yang Ming's BMW. He was very clear about Yang Ming's family background. He came from a worker's family. When he bought a laptop, he had to grit his teeth, but now, I made a small fortune. "It's nothing." Yang Ming smiled and shook his head. "You didn't eat at noon, right? Let's go and eat something together." "This." Sun Quan hesitated. After all, he hadn't seen Yang Ming for a long time. They were a little unfamiliar. Moreover, Yang Ming's current identity was obviously not on the same level as him. "Brother Quan, this is not your character." Yang Ming seemed to see Sun Quan's concerns and said with a smile, "Brother Quan, you weren't like this before." "Okay. Then it's my treat. You helped me out today. I haven't thanked you yet." When Sun Quan heard Yang Ming say this, he no longer hesitated and nodded boldly. "Don't." "What help?" "That Chen Xiaolong had a grudge with me. Even if you didn't help, I would still stop the car and teach him a lesson." Yang Ming waved his hand and said, "This kid bought a new car. I guess he wants to show it off in front of my girlfriend. He wants to flirt with my girlfriend. How can I let him stay?" "Your girlfriend?" Sun Quan was stunned. He thought, this relationship is really complicated. But in that case, Chen Xiaolong really needs to be taught a lesson. "Chen Mengyan. You have seen her before." Yang Ming said with a smile. Sun Quan had seen Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhao Ying, so he knew Yang Ming better. "Oh, it's her." Sun Quan nodded. "I remember. She's a very good girl. Let's go. It's still my treat." Yang Ming smiled and said, "How am I helping you out? This time you have to repair your car yourself. I guess that kid definitely won't repair my car. It's good enough that he won't let me repair his car." Sun Quan smiled bitterly and shook his head. "I can't afford to provoke this kind of person. Let's go in first and find a seat. I will call Chen Mengyan and ask them to come over." Yang Ming said. "Okay." Sun Quan nodded and walked into the food stall with Yang Ming. Now he also saw that Yang Ming was still the same Yang Ming as before. He didn't change anything. After the two sat down in the food stall, Yang Ming called Zhang Bin. "Zhang Bin, I'm at the Seaside Food Stall Seafood Restaurant on Hangqian Road. You can pick up Meng Yan and Jiyun and come here directly." Hangqian Road. Food stall. Zhang Bin was stunned. He thought, why did Yang Ming find a place so far away? It's a few kilometers away from the university. However, he still said, okay, I will pick up the two sisters-in-law, and then come over to find you. Yang Ming hung up the phone and sent a text message to Qin Mengyan, telling her that he wouldn't go to the university. Instead, he asked her and Lin Jiyun to come together in Zhang Bin's car. After doing all this, Yang Ming put down the phone and looked up at Sun Kuan. Brother Kuan, how have you been? I'm just living casually. Sun Kuan smiled bitterly. I'm a taxi driver. What else can I do? Chapter 1583. Driving a taxi is also good. Isn't the road construction in our city this year? Aren't many people taking taxis when they travel? Yang Ming smiled. That's true, but it may be my bad luck to meet such a rental company. The fee is too high. I can't afford it. Sun Kuan smiled bitterly. My son is going to primary school in the second half of this year. I haven't prepared the school selection fee yet. The fee is high. Isn't your car a buyout? Yang Ming was a bit puzzled. It's a buyout. My company's fee is high. My contract expires this year, but the rental company still won't let me go. I want to transfer to another company, but they won't give me a certificate. They forced me to renew the contract. Sun Kuan smiled bitterly. There are a lot of unreasonable deposits in the contract. But for a vulnerable group like us, there is really no way. The owner of the rental company is rich and powerful. I can't afford to offend him, won't let you go when the contract expires. Yang Ming frowned. Which rental company are you from? Dade Elegant Company, said Sun Kuan. I haven't heard of it. Yang Ming shook his head. You're not in this industry. You definitely don't know. Sun Kuan smiled and said, it's nothing. I can gather enough money, but I don't have the money for my child's school. I'll let him go to the primary school in the school district first. When I have money in the future, I'll transfer to another school. Why won't your company let you go? Did you breach the contract before? Yang Ming nodded and asked. That's not true. It's just that the rental company unilaterally won't let me go. If the person leaves, who will he earn money from? Sun Kuan said, there are many people in the company who have the same experience as me. But those who have connections can leave as long as they ask someone to talk to the boss. In that case, I'll accompany you to have a look in the afternoon. Yang Ming thought about it and said. This matter was Sun Kuan's. If it were another person, Yang Ming would definitely not care. There were unspoken rules in every industry. Yang Ming was not a hero. If it did not harm the interests of others, Yang Ming would not interfere. Just like some of Bao Sanli's previous industries were also gray areas. Yang Ming just let him gradually end it. He did not force him to do anything. Sun Kuan was stunned at first, then he immediately realized that the current Yang Ming was different from the past. Maybe he could really solve the problem, so he said, that's great. If you can really let me transfer to another company, I'm willing to spend some money. Let's go take a look first. Yang Ming waved his hand. Sun Kuan nodded. Although he felt that Yang Ming was not the same as before, Yang Ming didn't understand the taxi industry after all. He wasn't sure if he could help. However, Yang Ming's enthusiasm made Sun Kuan very moved. Yang Ming and Sun Kuan ordered the dishes first and waited for Zhang Bin to come over. Not long after, Zhang Bin, Zhao Sisi, Qin Mengyan, and Lin Jiyun walked into the food stall. Sun Kuan saw Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun walking into the food stall together while talking and laughing. He was suddenly stunned. If he remembered correctly, these two women were related to Yang Ming, and they actually walked together at the same time. They even talked and laughed. This made Sun Kun very surprised. Could it be that one of them had given up, and then the two of them became friends? Bro, what happened to your car? How did you knock off such a big piece of paint? As soon as Zhang Bin entered the door, he saw Yang Ming and shouted, "There is a taxi next to you." A piece of paint was also knocked off. Did you crash into each other? Brother Kun. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun had seen Sun Kun together with Yang Ming before. When they saw Sun Kun here, they were a little surprised and greeted him. Chen Mengyan. Lin. Sun Kun knew Chen Mengyan, but he couldn't call out Lin Jiyun's name. Yang Ming just happened to ride in Sun Kun's car with Lin Jiyun once. They didn't have much interaction. Even the main storyline of So Pure didn't mention it, so it was normal that Sun Kun couldn't call out Lin Jiyun's name. Lin Jiyun, my girlfriend. Yang Ming introduced her to Sun Kun. Girlfriend? Sun Kun widened his eyes and looked at Chen Mengyan strangely. When he saw that Chen Mengyan didn't have any strange expression on her face, he was even more baffled. This Yang Ming, does he really have two girlfriends, and these two girlfriends can coexist peacefully with each other? Isn't this too magical? Brother Kun. Lin Jiyun also nodded to Sun Kun in a friendly manner. Oh. Hello, Lin Jiyun. Although Sun Kun had doubts in his heart, he couldn't ask so much. He could only nod to Lin Jiyun with doubts. Zhang Bin, my good brother. Yang Ming pulled Zhang Bin over and patted his shoulder. He said to Sun Kun, I mentioned him to you before, but we didn't have the chance to get together. Brother Kun, I heard bro mention you. When he didn't have a car, he often came to my house in your car. Zhang Bin said with a smile, this is my girlfriend, Zhao Cece. Brother Kun. Zhao Cece also smiled and nodded to Sun Kun. After a few people sat down, the dishes were almost served. Yang Ming didn't hold back. He first picked up a crab and ate it. Then, everyone started to eat. Unknowingly, Yang Ming had become the leader of this banquet. Everyone looked at Yang Ming's actions. This made Yang Ming somewhat helpless, but there was no way. With the change of identity and status, it was impossible to get back the feelings of the past. Although Sun Kun had somewhat adapted, he was still not as open and unrestrained as before. Because there was still something in the afternoon, everyone didn't drink. After the meal, Yang Ming asked Zhang Bin to send Chen Mengyan and others back to school. He accompanied Sun Kun to his rental company to see if he could solve the problem. Let's go, Brother Kun. You lead the way in front, and I will follow behind. Yang Ming said to Sun Kun when they were out of the food stall. Let's go. If Sun Kun was alone, he would never go to the company again. It was because he was very clear about what kind of people the company's boss invited. Last time, he clearly saw one of his peers being beaten out of the door by the people invited by the boss. It could be said that these people were no different from hooligans. They were rude and unreasonable. Sun Kun was frightened by them. If it weren't for Yang Ming, he wouldn't dare to mention the matter of transferring to another company. Sun Kun led the way in front, and Yang Ming followed behind. Soon, they came to a 3-story building with a slightly cheaper location. There was a sign hanging on it. It said, Songjiang City Dade Elegant Taxi Company, Limited. Sun Kun parked the car in front of the building. Yang Ming also parked the car next to him. Yang Ming, it's here. Sun Kun said to Yang Ming, who got off the car, after a while, when you go in, don't be impulsive. The people here are not good people. These people are similar to the underworld. There are a lot of thugs. Let's not have a head-on conflict with them. Thugs. Yang Ming looked at the three-story building and sneered in his heart. If it was the previous Yang Ming who was a little punk, he might be scared. But now, Yang Ming was a person who could even destroy the Golden Hawk Gang's headquarters. Would he care about these small characters? Yeah, you can take a look in a while. If you can't find any connections, then forget it. I can also make do with driving here. It's just that the cost is higher and the income is less, but it's not a problem in terms of living, said Sun Quan. Yang Ming knew Sun Quan's family situation. His wife divorced him, and he was left to raise the child alone. It was really not easy. This was the main reason why Yang Ming planned to help him. Let's go in and take a look. Yang Ming nodded and signaled Sun Quan to lead the way in front. Sun Quan entered the company with ease. The guard on duty in the reception room at the door glanced at him. When he found that it was Sun Quan, he lowered his head and ignored him. Yang Ming followed Sun Quan to the second floor and came to the door of a room with a business advisory sign. Sun Quan knocked on the door. The door is not locked. Come in by yourself. There was an impatient male voice inside. Sun Quan was fine. Apparently, he was used to it. Yang Ming frowned. This attitude is too bad. I heard that the taxi company served the taxi drivers. Now it seems that there are some black sheep among them. Chapter 1584. Sun Quan pushed the door open and walked in with Yang Ming. In the office, a bald man put his legs on the desk with a cigarette in his mouth. He was playing Do Diju on the computer. When he heard someone come in, he didn't raise his head and asked, "Who is it? What's the matter?" "Brother Zhao, it's me, Sun Quan." Sun Quan quickly replied respectfully. "Sun Quan." The bald man looked up at Sun Quan and said impatiently, "What are you doing here? Are you here to renew the contract?" "No. I want to ask about transferring companies." Sun Quan said quickly. "What did you say?" The bald man raised his eyebrows and put down the mouse in his hand. He raised his head with an evil face. "You tell me again. What are you doing?" I said that I want to transfer companies. My contract here has expired." Sun Quan said carefully. If he didn't come with Yang Ming, he would definitely retreat now. "Transfer companies. Transfer your motherfucker. Didn't I tell you that you can't transfer? Do you not want to work in the taxi industry anymore?" The bald man slammed the table and then wiped his nose with his hand. Big snot Zhao. Yang Ming thought that this bald man's surname Zhao was familiar, but after thinking about it, he couldn't remember where he had seen him. However, looking at his habitual action of wiping his nose, Yang Ming suddenly remembered who this person was. "Isn't this person one of my underlings who used to follow me in junior high school, Zhao Debao, nicknamed Big Snot Zhao?" Zhao Debao was roaring when he suddenly heard someone call his nickname. He was stunned. Since he became famous and became a manager of the taxi company, very few people called his nickname Big Snot Zhao. They all called him Brother Zhao or Manager Zhao. Zhao Debao was a little surprised when he was suddenly called by a nickname. He didn't pay attention to the people around Sun Quan before. This time, he shifted his gaze to Yang Ming and carefully sized him up. Zhao Debao exclaimed in surprise. He removed his leg from the table and stood up. He walked in front of Yang Ming and looked carefully. He immediately recognized Yang Ming and pointed in front of Yang Ming. "Brother Yang. Big Snot Zhao, you recognize me? You seem to be doing well." Yang Ming looked at Zhao Debao with a smile that was not a smile. If it wasn't for the fact that he and Zhao Debao were old friends, how could Yang Ming let him live after Zhao Debao's screams? he would have sent him flying with a slap. It's all right. Xiao Debao puffed out his chest and felt a little proud. Especially in front of his former boss, he felt that his vanity was unprecedentedly satisfied. Brother Yang, are you also here to inquire about the taxi business? You can rest assured that I will definitely take care of you in my company. When Sun Quan saw that Yang Ming actually knew Xiao Debao, he was delighted. Originally, he thought that today's matter was hopeless, but he didn't expect an unexpected turn of events. Seeing that Yang Ming and Xiao Debao were familiar with each other, Sun Quan felt that he should be able to succeed today. Yang Ming smiled and shook his head. I'm not a taxi driver. I'm accompanying him. As Yang Ming spoke, he pointed at Sun Quan with his finger. Accompanying him. Sun Quan. Xiao Debao glanced at Sun Quan, and his face became a little gloomy. Brother Yang, why are you accompanying him? Seeing Xiao Debao's face, Yang Ming knew that Xiao Debao was used to being domineering and had forgotten that he was his former boss. Since we are on the same side, then it's easy. Big Snot Zhao, help him to issue a certificate and let him transfer out. Yang Ming glanced at Sun Quan and said to Xiao Debao. Transfer out. That's impossible. Xiao Debao immediately rejected Yang Ming's proposal. Xiao Debao's ruthlessness surprised Yang Ming. Originally, Yang Ming thought that Xiao Debao might use a bureaucratic tone, but he would definitely be more tactful. He didn't expect this kid to be so straightforward. As for Sun Quan, he was also stunned. He saw that Yang Ming and Xiao Debao were so familiar. Why didn't Xiao Debao give him any face? Big Snot Zhao, what do you mean? Yang Ming looked at Xiao Debao coldly. You don't even give me face. Don't forget who was the one who stood up for you when you were beaten up in the past. Hee, Yang Ming, you said it too. That was in the past. Xiao Debao sneered and said, I gave you face. You called me Big Snot Zhao, and I responded. This nickname, can anyone call me that now? I gave you face and called you Brother Yang. If I don't give you face, you are nothing. Do you think it's still the same as before? Do you think you are still the boss? Really? Do you really think so? Yang Ming looked at Xiao Debao with a smile and asked. I haven't been the boss for many years. I don't like the cold bedside. Xiao Debao pinched his nose and sang. He even winked at Yang Ming with a mocking expression. Yang Ming, Boss Yang, you don't know what my identity is now, right? You don't know who I am with, right? When Sun Quan heard Xiao Debao sing and mocking Yang Ming, he knew that things were not going well. Now it seemed that there was no hope for him to transfer to another company. This Xiao Debao didn't give Yang Ming any face and even mocked Yang Ming. Listening to Xiao Debao singing, Yang Ming wasn't angry but laughed. Why is this scene so familiar? It seems that I have seen it a long time ago. Since Xiao Debao didn't care about the old relationship, then Yang Ming didn't need to give face to Xiao Debao. He didn't need to care about the previous relationship. This Xiao Debao was so ignorant. Yang Ming couldn't do anything about it. He could only let him suffer a little. Yang Ming reached out and grabbed Xiao Debao's neck. He lifted him up. Your voice is really not good. You sang this song very badly. Cough cough. Let me go. Xiao Debao didn't expect Yang Ming to have so much strength. As a matter of fact, Xiao Debao was quite strong, but he was actually lifted up by Yang Ming with one arm. You let me go first, are you going to transfer or not? Yang Ming asked coldly. Let me go first. Everything can be discussed. Xiao Debao was almost suffocated by Yang Ming's grip. He said with a red face. Yang Ming, don't be impulsive. Sun Quan saw that Xiao Debao's face turned purple. He was shocked when he saw that Zhao Debao was about to suffocate. He was afraid that Yang Ming would do something. It wouldn't be good if someone died, so he quickly advised, Yang Ming, why don't you let him go first? Pang, Yang Ming threw Zhao Debao to the ground. I will give Brother Kun face and let you go this time. Although I'm not your boss now, I can still fix you. Originally, Zhao Debao was still a little afraid of Yang Ming, but when he heard Yang Ming call Sun Kun Brother Kun, he was relieved. Zhao Debao was very clear about Sun Kun's background. Since Yang Ming could call Sun Kun Brother Kun, he was definitely not a powerful person invited by Sun Kun. He was definitely just an ordinary person. Yang Ming, you're good. You dare to touch me. Do you know the consequences? Zhao Debao suddenly stood up again. He pressed the intercom system on the table and shouted, Liang, someone is causing trouble. Quickly bring people over. After that, Zhao Debao looked at Yang Ming proudly. Yang Ming, if you kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times, I will let you go this time. Otherwise, you can see whose territory this is. I will break your legs. It seems that you still don't want to give up. Yang Ming sighed. I took into account our past relationship, so I didn't do anything ruthless to you. But now it seems that you still have some awareness. You still dare to call people over. Well, if that's the case, you can do whatever you want. If Yang Ming wanted to stop Zhao Debao from calling people, he could not let him touch the intercom system. However, Yang Ming was not afraid of Zhao Debao calling people over. Hey! Boss Yang, Crazy Yang, do you think that you are still the king of fighting? Can you deal with a group of people with weapons by yourself? Zhao Debao saw that Yang Ming was so calm and suddenly mocked him. Yang Ming shrugged and did not take Zhao Debao's words to heart. Chapter 1585. Yang Ming. Why are you so impulsive? AI. When Sun Kun heard that Zhao Debao called people, he was a little anxious. He had seen the people that Zhao Debao mentioned. Those people were desperados. Some of them even had tattoos on their bodies. When these people came, how could he and Yang Ming be opponents? Even if Yang Ming was good at fighting, what Zhao Debao said was very reasonable. Can you deal with a large group of people alone? Moreover, they are holding weapons. Therefore, Sun Kun was a little scared. He quickly persuaded Yang Ming, let's go. We won't mention about transferring companies in the future. As Sun Kun spoke, he turned to Zhao Debao and said, Brother Zhao, I won't transfer companies. I will leave now. You don't need to call people, won't transfer companies. Zhao Debao snorted. Do you think that if you don't transfer companies today, this matter will be over? Let me tell you. If you want to leave, it won't be so easy. You beat me up like this. How can I not treat my former boss well? Don't you think so, Boss Yang Ming? Brother Kun, don't talk nonsense with him. If he wants to find people, let him find people. Yang Ming shrugged. He didn't take Zhao Debao's threat to heart. Instead, he seemed very relaxed. Sun Kun saw that Yang Ming was still full of confidence. He couldn't help but sigh. Yang Ming is really a newborn calf that is not afraid of tigers. Although Yang Ming may be very rich now and can suppress Chen Xiaolong, what can he do in the face of this group of vicious villains? Boss Yang, since you're not going to kneel and kowtow, then don't blame me for not giving you face. Zhao Debao snorted coldly, don't be too proud now. You'll feel good later. Yang Ming smiled slightly and didn't answer Zhao Debao's words. There was no point in saying anything now. Yang Ming was too lazy to explain. At this moment, the office door was pushed open with a bang. 5 young men rushed in. Some had dyed their hair, some wore big earrings, and some had tattoos on their faces. Everyone was holding an iron rod in their hands. The leader shouted as soon as he entered, "Big Snot Zhao, what's going on? Who's causing trouble here?" "Liang, you're finally here. That's great." When Zhao Debao saw that his backer was here, his face was immediately filled with joy. He pointed at Yang Ming and said, "Liang, look, we have an old acquaintance here. Do you still remember?" Liang looked in the direction Zhao Debao was pointing at and saw Yang Ming standing there with a smile on his face. He was stunned and his expression turned ugly. "He brought Sun Kun to me to transfer companies. Fuck, does he think that he's still the boss now? I gave him face and told him to leave quickly, but he actually dared to make a move on me." Zhao Debao didn't see Liang's expression and kept saying, "Then I can't spoil him anymore. He doesn't even look at what era it is now. Does he think he's still in school? Does he think he's some kind of boss? We're all his little brothers. I'll give him a song. I haven't been a big brother for many years. I don't like the cold edge of the bed." When Zhao Debao reached the part where he was excited, he started singing again. You. Liang was so angry that he pointed at Zhao Debao that he couldn't say anything. His entire body was trembling as he complained in his heart. "You blind man with eyes on your butt, what kind of person did you provoke? You want to die, but I don't want to die." Seeing that Zhao Debao was going to continue singing, Liang became anxious. He waved his hand and shouted to the people behind him, "Go, beat him up. Beat him to death. Fuck, I'm so angry." "Yes, sir." 3 of the 4 subordinates, upon hearing Liang's orders, swung their arms and were about to attack Yang Ming. Only one of them shouted and rushed towards Zhao Debao. He raised his iron rod and swung it, causing Zhao Debao's face to be covered in blood as he fell to the ground. The 3 subordinates behind him, who were about to attack Yang Ming, were dumbfounded when they saw that subordinate's actions. They forgot to make a move and looked at the subordinate who hit Zhao Debao in disbelief. "What are the 3 of you standing there for? Hurry up and attack." Liang turned around and saw that his other 3 subordinates were standing there in a daze. He immediately became angry and shouted at them. "Go! Where are we going?" The 3 subordinates were also confused. "Liang, who do you want us to hit?" "You can hit whoever Huang Mao hits." "Don't tell me you can hit Brother Yang." "Of course, you can hit that bastard Big Snot Zhao." Liang roared. "Yes." Although the 3 subordinates didn't know why Liang suddenly asked them to beat Zhao Debao, weren't these people called by Zhao Debao to beat up the troublemaker? But since Huang Mao had already made a move, then it must be right. This Huang Mao was the first to follow Liang. He was Liang's confidant. It was definitely right to follow him. Therefore, the 3 of them didn't ask more. They picked up the rod and surrounded Zhao Debao. Zhao Debao was suddenly shocked. He didn't expect that Liang would ask his subordinates to beat him as soon as he came in. What is going on? Is this Yang Ming still worthy of Liang's respect? Could it be that Brother Liang was a sentimental person? It doesn't seem like it. Previously, there was also a person who used to be Brother Liang's acquaintance. He came to Brother Liang to plead for mercy regarding the expiration of the taxi contract. In the end, Brother Liang found someone to beat him up and scare him out. What was going on today? Before Zhao Debao could figure out what was going on, the stick fell down and hit him. "Ayo!" Zhao Debao suddenly screamed in pain. These people were all professional thugs. They all knew how to beat people without killing them. Therefore, although Zhao Debao was in so much pain, there was not a single fatal wound, and he did not faint. He just wailed and howled in pain. Sun Kun was also stunned by the change in front of him. What is going on? The people that Zhao Debao found didn't come to beat me and Yang Ming. Instead, they beat Zhao Debao up. Why is this so weird? On the other hand, Yang Ming also had a feeling of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Originally, he thought that when the people called by Zhao Debao arrived, he would inevitably make a move. However, when the people called by Zhao Debao arrived, Yang Ming realized that the person he called was also an acquaintance. Brother Yang, I'm really sorry. This big nose Xiao's snot got into his eyes. He didn't know that Brother Yang was here. I have already taught him a lesson. Please don't be angry, Brother Yang. Liang's heart was very nervous now. He really had the impulse to beat Big Nose Xiao to death. You could have provoked anyone, but you provoked such a big shot. Moreover, you knew that he was Brother Yang, but you still dared to do this. Aren't you courting death? You even sang, I haven't been a big brother for many years. What do you mean? Aren't you being sarcastic? This Liang was the little punk Zhang Yuliang that Yang Ming met at the school gate. The previous Huang Mao was the follower behind Zhang Yuliang, Huang Mao. These two people were old acquaintances with Yang Ming. Zhang Yuliang mingled outside for a while. Suddenly, a distant relative who opened a taxi company found him and asked him to bring a few brothers to control the situation. So, Zhang Yuliang became the deputy manager of the taxi company. With Zhang Yuliang's punk style, he also controlled a lot of taxi drivers. This made the relative very satisfied. The bonus given to Zhang Yuliang was never less. This made Zhang Yuliang very proud. However, the more proud one was, the easier it was to have a tragedy. This sentence was simply the truth. Extreme joy begets sorrow. What is extreme joy begets sorrow? Zhang Yuliang felt that he was now. Is this Brother Yang an ordinary person? When I was a little punk, I was beaten up by him. Later, I heard that the relationship between Yang Ming and Bao Sanli was very good. Who is Bao Sanli? Even my distant relative who is the manager of the taxi company can't find a way to curry favor with him. I can't afford to offend him. However, Zhang Yuliang suddenly thought, didn't I also sing, I haven't been a big brother for many years, to Yang Ming? This big snot Zhao actually repeated the same mistake. It seems that this matter can't be entirely blamed on Big Snot Zhao. Didn't I not know how powerful Yang Ming was at the beginning? This Big Snot Zhao is quite like you, right? I remember that when you troubled me, you also sang, Big Brother, to me. Yang Ming narrowed his eyes and looked at Zhang Yuliang with a smile. Chapter 1586. Brother Yang, I have already repented. Zhang Yuliang didn't expect Yang Ming to remember the past. He begged Yang Ming with a bitter face, Brother Yang, this is all because Zhao Debao didn't know what to do. It has nothing to do with me. I also taught him a lesson. Please don't vent your anger on me. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Yuliang's expression and found it funny. I didn't want to vent my anger on anyone. Previously, I thought about my relationship with Big Snot Zhao. I tolerated his rude remarks several times, but Big Snot Zhao didn't seem to appreciate it. Brother Yang, this. Zhang Yuliang had a bitter face, but he couldn't explain anything. It's nothing. I just want my friend to transfer to another company. I don't want to trouble you. Yang Ming said faintly, but his words revealed an unquestionable majesty. Zhang Yuliang was about to open his mouth to agree, but the office door was pushed open again. Before he saw the person, the voice had already arrived. This was a lazy but very arrogant male voice. Who wants to transfer to another company? Are you tired of living? Have you forgotten what happened to Wang Yiding before? Wang Yiding was the taxi driver that Sun Kun mentioned. He wanted to transfer to another company and had a conflict with Big Snot Zhao. As a result, he was beaten half to death. These words made Yang Ming, Sun Kun, and Zhang Yuliang all stunned. Yang Ming was surprised. Who is the person who spoke? Is there a third party in this taxi company? Sun Kun was surprised. Why did General Manager Zhang Liebao, who rarely came to the company, come today? Zhang Yuliang complained in his heart. He thought, Yang Ming, this great god, was just appeased by me. Why are you provoking him again? The person who came in was the general manager of Dade Elegant Taxi Company, Zhang Yuliang's distant relative, Zhang Liebao. After drinking at noon today, he had nothing to do and came to the company to take a walk around. Unexpectedly, when he walked to the door of the consulting office, he heard someone inside saying that they wanted to change companies and even wanted to cause trouble. He immediately became angry. Hadn't Wang Yiding's incident taught these taxi drivers a lesson? How could someone dare to talk about changing companies? Thus, Zhang Liebao felt a surge of anger in his heart. He thought to himself, these little drivers are prickly again. Fine, since you're not being honest, then I'll take out another one and let you know how powerful I am. Thinking of this, Zhang Liebao pushed the door and walked into the consultation office, but he saw Zhang Yuliang was also inside. He was stunned for a moment, and then he thought, this Zhang Yuliang came quickly enough. Then it's easier to handle. There's no need to say anything, just start the fight. Zhang Yuliang, who was the one who said he wanted to transfer to another company. Don't waste time with him. Beat him up for me. Beat him to death. I want others to see what the consequences of transferring to another company are. Zhang Liebao shouted with the smell of alcohol. Yang Ming looked at the middle-aged man who had just walked in with the smell of alcohol. He didn't know where this person came from and what he did. What are you doing? You're asking me. You're asking me what I do. When Zhang Liebao saw that Yang Ming actually didn't recognize him, he was immediately angry. He slapped Yang Ming and was ready to teach Yang Ming a lesson. I'll let you know what I do. Pa, a crisp sound, but it wasn't a slap on Yang Ming's face, but Zhang Liebao's hand was caught by Yang Ming. With a little force, Zhang Liebao's wrist was dislocated. Then Yang Ming waved his hand and slapped Zhang Liebao's face. He directly gave him a red five-finger mountain. Zhang Liebao didn't expect Yang Ming to be so fast. He was a little stunned. After a while, he felt the pain on his hand and face. He howled, "You dare to hit me? Do you know who I am?" Oh. When Yang Ming heard Zhang Liebao's question, he looked at Zhang Liebao as if he was looking at a fool. I asked you what you do before, but you didn't answer. Now you ask me who you are. Are you stupid? When Sun Kun saw Yang Ming hit Zhang Liebao, his heart suddenly trembled. He secretly complained. He thought, I'm afraid that the matter of transferring to another company today is really ruined. Previously, Zhang Yuliang's defection made the whole thing turn around. Sun Kun's heart was lit with hope. He didn't know when Yang Ming actually had a friendship with Zhang Yuliang. This matter would definitely be easy to handle. But what he didn't expect was that Zhang Liebao suddenly appeared and interfered, making things complicated again. President Zhang, don't be angry. Yang Ming doesn't know your identity. Sun Kun was scared and quickly explained to Zhang Liebao, he's not from the taxi company. He's my friend. Then, Sun Kun said to Yang Ming, this is the general manager of our taxi company, President Zhang. President Zhang. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Liebao and smiled. Previously, I was afraid that Zhang Yuliang couldn't make the decision. Since you are here, then it's good that you are here. Transfer Brother Kun to another company. Just one word, is it okay or not? If Yang Ming was so arrogant before he was drunk, Zhang Liabao would think if Yang Ming had any backing. But now, he was drunk. How could he think so much? Moreover, when he heard Yang Ming call Sun Quan as Brother Quan, he had the same thought as Zhao Debao. He thought that since Yang Ming called a taxi driver as Brother Quan, then his identity must not be high. He was probably on the same level, but he was more ruthless in fighting. I don't have to be afraid. Thinking of this, Zhang Liabao endured the pain in his wrist. He pointed at Yang Ming and said to Zhang Yuliang, kill him for me. This little brat dared to hit me. I want to let him know what kind of person I, Zhang Liabao, am. Zhang Yuliang secretly complained in his heart. He thought, my distant relative, Zhang Liabao, has offended Yang Ming. What should I do? He quickly said, Fourth Master, this is Yang Ming. When I was in school, I used to follow him. Zhang Yuliang wanted to explain Yang Ming's identity, but before he could finish, Zhang Liabao waved his hand and interrupted him. School. Zhang Yuliang, you are quite nostalgic, aren't you? It was 800 years ago. How can you still remember? Don't forget who you are working for now. If you want to care about brotherhood, then you don't have to work here for me from today onwards. Zhang Liabao was angry in his heart. He thought, now this Yang Ming beat me up. Even if this Yang Ming and Zhang Yuliang have a good relationship, it is useless. If I don't cut this Yang Ming today and teach him a lesson, my prestige in this taxi company will be completely gone. Who can I scare in the future? Fourth Master, please listen to what I have to say first. Zhang Yuliang said anxiously. What are you talking about? Stop talking. Hurry up and do it. Zhang Liabao ordered Zhang Yuliang, do you not want to work anymore? Fourth Master, I'm begging you, please listen to what I have to say first. Zhang Yuliang was about to cry. He saw Yang Ming sneering at the side. Zhang Yuliang almost sat on the ground. What do you want to say to me? Hurry up and say it. Just say it. Zhang Liabao saw that Zhang Yuliang was unwilling to let it go. Although he was somewhat unhappy, he thought that Zhang Yuliang had done his best to help him. So, he snorted and said impatiently, I will give you 1 minute. Hurry up and beat him up when you are done. If you want to plead for this kid, I think you should just forget about it. Even if the King of Heaven comes today, I will make this kid a disabled person. Fourth Master, Brother Yang is now Brother Bao and Brother Ho's buddy. Zhang Yuliang was afraid that Zhang Liabao would interrupt him again. He didn't dare to talk more nonsense and quickly said the main point. Brother Bao. Brother Ho. Which Brother Bao or Brother Ho? Zhang Liabao frowned. Leopard or monkey? Are you opening a zoo? When Zhang Yuliang heard Zhang Liabao's words, he had the thought of running away. He thought, you dare to insult Bao Sonli and Ho Jinhan. Do you still want to stay in Songjiang? It is Bao Sonli, Brother Bao, and Ho Jinhan, Brother Ho. Zhang Yuliang explained with a bitter face. Chapter 1587. This Zhang Liabao usually treated Zhang Yuliang well, so Zhang Yuliang still explained patiently. If it were someone else, Zhang Yuliang would have already ignored him. Bao Sonli. Ho Jinhan. Zhang Liabao repeated these two names. His face suddenly became pale, and he sobered up. Liangzi, what did you say? Say it again. He is a person around Brother Bao. Yeah. Zhang Yuliang smiled bitterly and nodded. Fourth Master, you bastard, why didn't you say so earlier? Zhang Liabao's heart twitched, and he almost rolled his eyes. Such a big thing. Why didn't you report it to me? Zhang Liebao usually didn't have a chance to have a relationship with Bao Sonli. Today, he offended Bao Sonli's people. How could he not be angry? This was originally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to please others, but he missed it. Not only that, it would be good if he didn't create a bad impression on others, let alone leaving a good impression. Fourth Master, I wanted to say it before, but you didn't let me say it. Zhang Yuliang smiled bitterly. I just said it halfway, and you interrupted me, you. Zhang Liebao was suddenly speechless. He did just interrupt Zhang Yuliang. However, he still said, such a big thing, even if I don't let you say it, you have to say it. Didn't I say it? Zhang Yuliang said in his heart, if you weren't so anxious, would this matter become like this? I have already appeased Yang Ming here. You came in and stirred things up. Things are out of control again. This. Zhang Liebao blamed himself in his heart. Drinking really messes things up. If he didn't drink today, he wouldn't be so impulsive. At least, he should think carefully about Zhang Yuliang's previous reminder. Now, he drank too much, and his brain wasn't bright. He turned a deaf ear to Zhang Yuliang's previous words, which led to the current consequences. Sun Quan's face also changed. He had also heard of the names of Bao Sonli and Ho Jinhan. After all, these two people were too famous in Songjiang. Sun Quan didn't expect Yang Ming to have a relationship with Bao Sonli. Things had taken a turn for the worse again. Originally, Sun Quan thought that after Zhang Liebao came to interfere, not only would his transfer to another company failed, but today's matter would not end. However, the sentence of Zhang Yuliang pointed out Yang Ming's social relationship, which made the originally angry Zhang Liebao instantly turn pale. Sun Quan saw this kind of emotional change. Sun Quan saw this kind's emotional change. This was a turn of things. Today's matter was really full of twists and turns, but now it seemed that the result was still good. It was really training people's psychological endurance. Yang. Mr. Yang, right? Before this, I didn't figure out the situation. You see, I drank too much. Zhang Liebao looked at Yang Ming with surprise and said carefully, this drinking messes things up. Previously, didn't you say that even if the King of Heaven came, you would beat me until I was disabled? Yang Ming looked at Zhang Liebao and asked. That. If the King of Heaven came, I would beat him. If the King of Heaven didn't come, I wouldn't beat him. The King of Heaven didn't come. Zhang Liebao explained with a flash of inspiration. Pfft. When Yang Ming heard Zhang Liebao's words, he almost burst out laughing. There is such a shameless person. He can even explain it like this. He is really good. If the King of Heaven came, I would beat you. If the King of Heaven didn't come, I would beat him. The King of Heaven doesn't exist. Of course, he can't come, so I definitely can't beat you. Seeing Yang Ming laugh, Zhang Liebao saw that there seemed to be a way and quickly continued to explain. So, since the King of Heaven doesn't exist, my previous words are nonsense. Zhang Yuliang, you hurry up. What are you looking at? Go. Go what? Zhang Yuliang was shocked. Could it be that his fourth master had lost his mind? Why did he still want him to go in such a situation? Come up and beat me. Didn't you hear it? Zhang Liebao said anxiously. This. Zhang Yuliang was immediately dumbfounded. He didn't expect fourth master to mean this. For Zhang Liebao's explanation and approach, Yang Ming really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Originally, he wanted to teach this guy a lesson, but his current performance really made Yang Ming unable to do it. For this kind of villain, although Yang Ming didn't like it, their style and behavior were indeed the secret to survival in society. They could repeatedly turn danger into safety. As long as they were shameless, there was nothing that couldn't be done. Hurry up. Zhang Liebao saw that Zhang Yuliang was dumbfounded and didn't make a move. He immediately became anxious and hurried. Yes. Zhang Yuliang had no choice but to nod. He raised his hand and prepared to slap Zhang Liebao. However, when his hand reached the side of Zhang Liebao's face, he couldn't do it. After all, this was his elder, and also the company's leader. How could Zhang Yuliang hit him? What are you waiting for? Hurry up and hit. Zhang Liebao saw that Zhang Yuliang's hand was hanging there, and he couldn't help but yell angrily. He now hoped that Yang Ming would quickly calm down. Otherwise, if Yang Ming went back and didn't forgive him, he wouldn't be able to survive in Songjiang. This taxi company probably wouldn't be able to continue operating. Oh, yes. Zhang Yuliang was helpless and could only slap him. Zhang Liebao was afraid that Zhang Yuliang would retreat again, so he quickly put his big face in the direction of Zhang Yuliang's hand. This time, there was finally a paw sound. Zhang Yuliang slapped Zhang Liebao's face. This kind of behavior of giving face for others to slap really made Yang Ming completely speechless. It's too badass. It's really badass to the extreme. Why are you so weak? It's like being stared by a mosquito. Zhang Liebao touched his face that was already a little red. He said with some dissatisfaction, again, use more strength. Hit me as hard as you can. Oh. Zhang Yuliang was stunned, then nodded. He couldn't help it. He had to lift his arm again and slap over. This time, Zhang Yuliang also went all out and added some strength to his hand. Paw! With a sound, a slap was slapped on Zhang Liebao's face again. Zhang Liebao was suddenly seeing stars. He was dizzy and his ears were buzzing. No, use more strength. It's not enough. Zhang Liebao ordered Zhang Yuliang in a daze. Okay. Zhang Yuliang gritted his teeth and swung his arm. This time, he used 100% of his strength and slapped Zhang Liebao's face. It immediately turned into a loud, banged sound. Blood overflowed from the corner of Zhang Liebao's mouth. Zhang Liebao's entire cheek was swollen. He looked at Yang Ming pitifully. Seeing that Yang Ming still didn't speak, Zhang Liebao said to Zhang Yuliang, "This side, change my face and continue." As Zhang Liebao spoke, he turned the other half of his face to Zhang Yuliang. Zhang Yuliang was about to lift his arm again to slap Zhang Liebao, but Yang Ming frowned and stopped him. Okay, that's enough. Zhang Liebao didn't understand what Yang Ming meant. Was he satisfied or dissatisfied? He suddenly looked at Yang Ming with some fear and trepidation. I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. I must learn a lesson with blood so that I can remember, that's enough. Don't hit him anymore. Let's forget about this matter. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Liebao, who had a miserable face, and said. Previously, Yang Ming really disdained to teach people like Zhang Liebao a lesson. It was a good choice to have Zhang Yuliang to do it for him. So Yang Ming watched Zhang Yuliang slap Zhang Liebao a few times until Zhang Liebao's face was full of blood. When Yang Ming felt that it was enough, he spoke to stop it. After listening to Yang Ming's words, Zhang Liebao suddenly showed an expression of relief. Yang Ming's words meant that Yang Ming had forgiven him. This slap wasn't in vain. If it didn't work, he was prepared to let Zhang Yuliang continue to slap him. If it really didn't work, he would use the iron rod to smash him. Until Yang Ming forgave him. Anyway, Zhang Liebao had just thrown caution to the wind. He already had the idea of staying in the hospital for half a year. Who would have thought that Yang Ming would forgive him like this, which made Zhang Liebao really overjoyed. Suddenly, the burning pain on his face turned into a happy feeling, which made him feel very comfortable. It turned out that being beaten was also a happy thing. Chapter 1588. Mr. Yang, it's great that you can understand. Zhang Liebao said happily, you can rest assured. I will do Mr. Sun Kuen's transfer formalities for you. I will do it immediately. Zhang Yuliang, why don't you go and give Mr. Sun Kuen a certificate? Of course, the certificate will be issued. But before that, I still want to remind you. Yang Ming said, although I don't know what other taxi companies are like, do they also have so many problems, forcing drivers to sign contracts with violence? But judging from the fact that Brother Kuen wants to transfer companies, I am afraid that other companies are definitely not like this. When Zhang Liebao heard Yang Ming's words, the sweat on his forehead immediately fell. Mr. Yang, don't say it first. Yang Ming waved his hand. Let bygones be bygones. I don't want to pursue it. But from now on, I hope you don't do these crooked practices anymore. What's wrong with doing business properly? Build a reputation, and I believe that these taxi drivers will not leave. You should have a long-term vision in everything you do, and not care about momentary benefits. Yes, what Mr. Yang said is right. I will correct it in the future. Zhang Liebao didn't expect Yang Ming to say these words to him. He was stunned for a moment, and then quickly agreed. Yang Ming saw that Zhang Liebao agreed quickly, and he knew that Zhang Liebao was probably perfunctory. It was hard to say whether Zhang Liebao really listened, so he smiled and said, of course, you cannot listen to me. But after a while, I will inquire about it. If it is still like this, then I don't mind suggesting Brother Bao to enter the taxi industry and open a taxi company to compete with you. At that time, it is not up to you to decide whether you want to let them go or not. After Zhang Liebao heard Yang Ming's words, his heart suddenly trembled. Yang Ming's last sentence was what worried Zhang Liebao the most. As Yang Ming said, if Bao Sonli also entered the taxi industry and opened a taxi company, how could he dare to stop his own taxi drivers from transferring to Bao Sonli's company after the expiration of their contracts? However, if they were allowed to transfer to another company, it was estimated that not long after, the people in his company would be gone. If these people were transferred to Bao Sonli's company, he really didn't dare to say anything. He had to issue a certificate with a smile. When he thought of what was about to happen, Zhang Liebao's face immediately turned green. He knew that he was done for, but there was nothing he could do to stop it. This feeling made him feel so much pain that he wished he was dead. Mr. Yang. This taxi industry isn't very profitable. Brother Bao is a person who does big things. Why would he care about these small profits? Zhang Liebao quickly and carefully begged for mercy. Mr. Yang, don't worry. Our company will start to reorganize tomorrow. No, it will start in a while. We must start a new journey with a new look. We will refund all unreasonable deposits. Please wait and see, Mr. Yang. At this moment, Zhang Liebao also figured it out. If this continued, he would probably be finished. He couldn't argue with Yang Ming and Bao Sonli. He might as well do what Yang Ming said. Although there might not be much benefit in the short term, Yang Ming was right. From a long-term perspective, it was a good idea for long-term development. The most important thing was to be able to do it all the time without angering Bao Sonli. Well, if that's the case, then I will observe for a while. Yang Ming nodded. No problem, Mr. Yang. I will hold a meeting in a while. I want to welcome the future with a new face. Zhang Liebao quickly promised. Yang Ming didn't fully believe Zhang Liebao's words. He just said, I hope so. Zhang Yuliang, didn't I ask you to issue a certificate for Mr. Sun Kuen? Why are you dilly-dallying? Zhang Liebao saw that Zhang Yuliang hadn't gone to issue a certificate, so he immediately shouted impatiently. I'm going now. I'm going now. Zhang Yuliang thought, this Sun Kun doesn't give me the materials. How can I issue it? So he quickly turned to look at Sun Kun. That. Brother Kun, you give me the materials and the expired contract. I will issue a certificate for you. No need. Sun Kun waved his hand. I don't want to change companies. Ah. Zhang Yuliang was stunned. Even Zhang Liebao and Yang Ming were stunned. Mr. Sun Kun, are you still angry? I'm really sorry about the previous matter. Zhang Liebao was stunned. He wondered if Sun Kun was still dissatisfied in his heart. After all, Sun Kun had also come to the company before. He had requested to change companies several times, but it wasn't done. It was normal to have resentment in his heart, so he quickly smiled at Sun Kun. Sun Kun, Zhang Liebao didn't care much, but now Sun Kun was with Yang Ming. His status naturally rose. He couldn't treat him with the previous common sense. Angry? Why would I be angry? I'm not angry anymore. Sun Kun smiled and waved his hand. I don't want to change companies, not because I deliberately want to find trouble, but because President Zhang, you just said that the company will be changed in the future. So, why should I go? I just happen to stay here and be a witness. Oh. Zhang Liebao was slightly stunned and immediately became happy. That's great, Mr. Sun Kun. You can rest assured. We will develop a new contract in the next few days. We promise not to let you down. At the very least, it won't be worse than other companies. Since Zhang Liebao had decided to change, he didn't care that Sun Kun would supervise him. Instead, he hoped that Sun Kun would stay here and personally feel the changes in the company. After that, he could say a few good words for himself in front of Yang Ming. This could also make Yang Ming dispel the idea of suggesting Bao Sanli to open a taxi company. Therefore, he welcomed Sun Kun to stay. Anyway, Sun Kun could stay, which was a recognition of him. Zhang Liebao held Sun Kun's hand affectionately. Mr. Sun Kun, thank you for your trust again. Well, President Zhang, don't be so polite. Since Brother Kun decided to stay here, it is also a good thing. Yang Ming was afraid that Zhang Liebao had resentment towards Sun Kun. Although it seemed that Zhang Liebao was very welcoming on the surface, who knew what he was thinking in his heart? You may know a person's face but not his heart. If Zhang Liebao wanted to get away with it, then Sun Kun would naturally become a thorn in his side if he stayed here. Therefore, Yang Ming deliberately warned, in this way, at least Brother Bao can't hurt you by accident. With Brother Kun here, you can also learn more about the situation. Hurt by accident. Zhang Liebao was shocked and complained in his heart. It turned out that I was almost hurt by accident. Listening to Yang Ming's meaning, it seemed that no matter what, he wanted Bao Sanli to hurt me. This Sun Kun stayed and became my savior. Thinking of this, Zhang Liebao thought that it was a close call. I must treat Sun Kun like a master in the future so that Sun Kun would put in a good word for me so that I wouldn't be hurt by accident. Sun Kun, in fact, thought so too. Since Yang Ming had intimidated Zhang Liebao could only treat him with courtesy if he stayed in the Dade Elegant Company. Even if he changed to a new company, although the fee was lower, he wouldn't get such courtesy. Therefore, when Sun Kun heard that Zhang Liebao decided to change the company, he decided to stay. Here, no one would make things difficult for him. Yes, yes. Zhang Liebao said, then, I have decided now to appoint Mr. Sun Kun as the supervisor of our Dade Elegant Taxi Company. He can raise objections to the company's management and charging system, and reserve the right to reflect the problems to Mr. Yang. This will also act as a spur and a reminder for our change pace. Zhang Libao's brain was faster. After thinking about it, he came up with a job title for Sun Kun so that he could participate in the change legitimately. What Zhang Libao was now afraid was that if he changed the system, Yang Ming would still be dissatisfied. Then, he would find an excuse to let Bao Sonli merge with him. Then, he would be unlucky. If Sun Kun was also involved, even if Yang Ming wasn't satisfied with the new system, Sun Kun would participate in the formulation. He believed that Yang Ming wouldn't be able to say anything. Now, seeing that Yang Ming kept calling him Brother Kun, the relationship between the two was definitely good. He believed that Yang Ming would definitely give Sun Kun face. Chapter 1589. This is your company's personnel arrangement. I can't intervene. Yang Ming was very satisfied with Zhang Libao's insight. Now it seemed that Sun Kun's position in the taxi company in the future could be fully guaranteed. At least Sun Kun would not be treated unfairly. With his relationship, even if Sun Kun was not treated like a boss, at least he would be treated specially. I don't know if Mr. Sun Kun would accept the position of supervisor. Zhang Libao saw that Yang Ming had no opinion, so he turned to Sun Kun. Mr. Sun Kun, you can rest assured that we will definitely not let you work for free. We will pay you a monthly salary. So, I will make the decision. 3,000 yuan a month. How about it? 3,000 yuan, this. Sun Kun couldn't accept it for a while. Isn't this change too huge? This supervisor, if it were normal times, it would be an honor for an ordinary taxi driver to be able to serve as a supervisor even if they didn't pay. To be recognized by the company and personally participate in the design and development of the company's plan, how could an ordinary person achieve this? Now, not only was he allowed to participate, but he was also given a salary of 3,000 yuan a month. This made Sun Kun feel like he was dreaming. He worked hard for a month. After deducting the cost of gas and expenses, he only had 5,000 yuan left. This supervisor gave him 3,000 yuan. How could this not make him excited? Seeing that Sun Kun didn't respond, Zhang Libao thought that Sun Kun felt that it was too little. He hurriedly said, 3,000 is indeed a bit too little. 5,000 a month. How about it, Mr. Sun Kun? Are you willing to be a supervisor of our Dade Elegant Taxi Company? Of course, I am willing. Sun Kun didn't expect that his hesitation would cause Zhang Libao to increase the company's salary to 5,000. He quickly nodded and agreed. Okay, then from today onwards, Mr. Sun Kun will be the supervisor of the company. In a while, I will publish Mr. Sun Kun's photo in the company's leaders column. Zhang Libao saw that Sun Kun had agreed, and he immediately felt relieved and said. Spending 5,000 yuan a month to buy peace of mind was simply too cost-effective in Zhang Libao's opinion. He originally wanted to waive Sun Kun's fee, but he felt that it was not very good to do so. It would also be criticized by others, so he thought of the idea of a supervisor to compensate Sun Kun in a disguised form. He could also let Sun Kun participate in the company's system formulation, and it could also make Yang Ming feel at ease. It was simply killing two birds with one stone. Zhang Libao thought to himself, I am really a genius, to be able to think of such a powerful idea, simply too powerful. Well, since the matter is settled, then I won't cause any more trouble here. Yang Ming smiled and said, Zhang Libao, I hope you remember your promise today. Mr. Yang, you can rest assured. To put it bluntly, I really don't want to lose my job. Zhang Libao smiled bitterly, I really don't dare to offend you and Brother Bao. Yang Ming smiled and said to Sun Kuan, "Brother Kuan, then I will go first. You stay here. If there is anything, let's call again." Sun Kuan looked at Yang Ming gratefully and nodded heavily. Today's matter was all thanks to Yang Ming. Not only could he save a sum of money, but he also had new income every month. This made Sun Kuan, who had a tight life, finally have money in his hands. The school selection fee for his son's school was also not a problem. If this continued, when it was time to pay the fee, he would definitely have enough money in his hands. In fact, these things were just a piece of cake for Yang Ming. Coming out of the taxi company, Yang Ming got in the car and looked at the time. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. At this time, there was nothing to do. It was too late to go back to school for class, and there was still a long time before the date with Sun Jia in the evening. It was rare for him to have a free moment when he had nothing to do. Yang Ming drove the car to the side of the road, then turned on the radio and quietly enjoyed the peace of this moment. This morning, Xia Wenjin, Lu Xiaojun, and Qi Zhida are suspected of attempted rape and deliberately injuring the Nightless Club Hotel's waitress, Shen Yuxi. The case was publicly tried by the Songjiang Intermediate People's Court. The indictment alleges that the defendant, Xia Wenjin, along with the other two defendants, Lu Xiaojun and Qi Zhida, tailed the Nightless Club's hotel attendant, Shen Yuxi, to the residential building in the XX district at around 2100 hours in the evening and attempted to rape her. Yang Ming frowned and turned up the volume of the radio in the car. Shen Yuxi, a name that Yang Ming almost forgot. The news of the case on the radio reminded Yang Ming of the young and sweet waitress at the Nightless Club. The only interaction between the two people was when Sun Jia was shot at the Nightless Club. Later, it turned out that this incident was done by Tian Long, and Shen Yuxi did not suffer any harm. It was reasonable to say that Yang Ming and Shen Yuxi would not have anything to do with each other after that. However, this case made Yang Ming pay attention to this name again. Lu Xiaojun, such a familiar name. Yang Ming had long known that he was not a good person. He did not expect that he would do such a thing. Yang Ming sighed, took out the phone, and dialed Xia Bingbao's phone number. "Yang Ming. Why are you looking for me again?" Every time Xia Bingbao received a call from Yang Ming, it was always because Yang Ming had something to do. Otherwise, Yang Ming would never call him if he had nothing to do. "Help me find out if there was anyone who interceded for Shen Yuxi's case in court today." Yang Ming said to Xia Bingbao. "Did anyone intercede?" "What do you mean? Are you looking for me to intercede, or what?" Xia Bingbao was stunned and asked. "Nothing. I have seen the three defendants. They are not good people, but their family backgrounds are not small. I am afraid that someone will intercede," said Yang Ming. "I got it." Xia Bingbao breathed a sigh of relief. This kind of thing was not a big deal, and it would not violate any principles. It was not a big deal to judge the three villains. If Yang Ming asked him to convict an innocent person, it would be difficult to deal with. Yang Ming did not say much and hung up the phone. He believed that this was not a difficult thing for Xia Bingbao. After starting the car, Yang Ming rushed to the Songjiang First People's Hospital. For some reason, Yang Ming felt uncomfortable when he thought that Shen Yuxi would be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. It was the best time of life. She should be enjoying life, but she could only sit in a wheelchair. Especially when Yang Ming saw Shen Yuxi's healthy appearance, he could not accept it. Yang Ming made this call because he wanted those who hurt Shen Yuxi to get the punishment they deserved. After parking the car in the hospital's parking lot, Yang Ming remembered that he still did not know Shen Yuxi's ward number. He smiled bitterly and dialed the phone to Bao Sanli. Bao Sanli had been following up on Shen Yuxi's matter. "Brother Yang, what's the matter?" Bao Sanli's phone was quickly connected, and Bao Sanli's voice came from the other side. Baozi, do you know which ward Shinyushi is in? Asked Yang Ming. Shinyushi. Bao Sanli was slightly stunned. Brother Yang, she has been discharged from the hospital. She also testified in court today. I accompanied her. Her legs are better. Yang Ming was also stunned. No, she is in a wheelchair. Bao Sanli sighed. There is no other way in the hospital. The external injuries have been cured, but there is no other way for the nerve problems in her legs. Is the verdict out? Asked Yang Ming. Not yet. The trial will continue next week, said Bao Sanli. Bao Sanli said that Xia Wenjin's family is quite capable. They found some people to pressure them, but we are not vegetarians. I am the boss of the security company, so they are quite afraid of me. And I have already found someone to ask. Don't worry. I will not let Xia Wenjin go, said Yang Ming. Baozi, I have troubled you with this matter. Why didn't you tell me? Brother Yang, you are too busy. You just came back yesterday. I didn't have time to tell you. Bao Sanli smiled bitterly. Brother Yang, are you looking for Miss Shin? And I want to see her, said Yang Ming. Through this period of contact, Bao Sanli gradually saw that Shinyushi was not Yang Ming's lover. Shinyushi also admitted that she only had a one-sided crush on Yang Ming. However, Bao Sanli did not neglect Shinyushi because of this. He was still very enthusiastic to help Shinyushi with treatment and lawsuits. Chapter 1590. In any case, whether it was for public or private reasons, Bao Sanli would do his best. Shinyushi was an employee of the Nightless Club, so Bao Sanli would definitely take care of her. Although he previously misunderstood that Shinyushi was Yang Ming's lover, Shinyushi finally admitted that she was secretly in love with Yang Ming. Feeling Shinyushi's honesty and purity, Bao Sanli gradually liked this little girl. Of course, this like was only a kind of affection. She has now been discharged from the hospital and is recuperating at home. I sent her home after the court adjourned, said Bao Sanli. I see. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. He didn't know anything about this matter. Where is her home? In an old community not far from the Nightless Club. How about I take you there? Brother Yang, where are you? Asked Bao Sanli. I am at the beach. How about this? I will go to the Nightless Club, and you can take me there, said Yang Ming. Okay, I will go to the Nightless Club and wait for you, said Bao Sanli. For Yang Ming to think of Shinyushi and visit her, Bao Sanli was happy and blessed Shinyushi from the bottom of his heart. How could Bao Sanli not be clear about this little girl's thoughts? Shinyushi had revealed her feelings in front of him more than once, but she was somewhat self-remorseful. If it were before she was paralyzed, Shinyushi still had some confidence in herself, but now, Shinyushi did not expect Yang Ming to like her. In this case, it was Shinyushi's biggest wish that Yang Ming could come to see her. However, she also understood that she had no feelings for Yang Ming. If her legs were not broken, maybe something would happen between Yang Ming and her one day under the ambiguous atmosphere and rumors. But now, how could Yang Ming like a burden? The more it was like this, the more Bao Sanli pitied this girl. However, there were some words that he couldn't say to Yang Ming as a subordinate, so he could only help and care for Shinyushi as much as possible. He also encouraged her not to give up. Perhaps, there would be a day when she could stand up again. When Yang Ming heard that Shinyushi's leg had not improved, his mood was a little gloomy. He was no longer in a happy mood. He turned off the car radio and drove in the direction of the Nightless Club. During this time, Yang Ming almost never went to the Nightless Club. He parked the car in the parking lot of the Nightless Club. Yang Ming did not get off but called Bao Sanli. Brother Yang, have you arrived? I have arrived at the parking lot with little Wang. Bao Sanli said. Little Wang. Yang Ming was stunned. It's your driver, Wang Lin. Bao Sanli said, I asked him to drive here, so he can recognize the door. Oh, it's him. Yang Ming suddenly realized. I'm also in the parking lot, in the northwest corner. I saw your car. I'll go over now, said Bao Sanli. Bao Sanli hung up the phone and said to little Wang in the driver's seat, go to the northwest corner. Brother Yang is there. Okay, President Bao. Little Wang nodded politely and started the car. At this moment, little Wang's mood could be said to be extremely excited. After finishing Yang Ming's matter in the morning, little Liao always asked about some things when he returned to the company. However, it was no wonder that he used very little time to go back and forth, so it made little Liao doubt whether he was working for Yang Ming. Or, Yang Ming didn't want him anymore. This made little Wang very depressed. Although he pretended to be unfathomable and said that it was confidential, little Wang knew that little Liao still had some doubts. Just as little Wang was depressed, Bao Sanli suddenly came to the motorcade in the afternoon. Little Liao thought that Bao Sanli was looking for him to drive, so he was very happy. He didn't forget to look at little Wang proudly. However, Bao Sanli didn't even look at little Liao. He directly looked for little Wang and told him that Brother Yang had something to do, so he asked little Wang to drive him out. This made little Liao jealous and helpless. Now it seemed that little Wang was favored. Thinking that he was still speculating and doubting little Wang in the morning, little Liao regretted it. It seemed that he must have a good relationship with little Wang in the future. Yang Ming walked down from the car and nodded to little Wang when he saw him. Then, he said, Little Wang, you get out of the car. I will go with Bao Sanli. This is my car key. I knocked some paint off the front of my car. You go and deal with it. As he spoke, he threw the car key to little Wang. Okay, Brother Yang. You can rest assured. I will take care of it. Little Wang nodded quickly. Being able to help the leader repair the car was not something that ordinary people could do. Therefore, little Wang was very happy with Yang Ming's trust. He took the car key and quickly promised. How much does it cost? You pay for it first. Just ask me later, said Bao Sanli. Okay, President Bao. Little Wang responded and got into Yang Ming's BMW. Bao Sanli also changed to the driver's seat of the Audi A8, and Yang Ming sat in the passenger seat. Little Wang waited for Yang Ming's car to leave before he followed behind. Little Wang was afraid that there was nothing to do. As long as there was something to do, he was very happy. Thinking about it, little Liao would envy him for a while when he drove Yang Ming's BMW back to the company's motorcade. Thinking of the change in his status, little Wang was happy for no reason. Baozi, have you appeased Shin Yushi's parents? Asked Yang Ming after he got in the car. Her parents are fine. After all, this incident did not happen in our entertainment city, but in the corridor of Shin Yushi's house. So relatively speaking, we have no responsibility, said Bao Sanli. And we took the initiative to bear the medical expenses. Shin Yushi's parents are very grateful to us. They are grateful that we have been paying for the medical expenses. How much can Xia Wenjin compensate? Asked Yang Ming as he nodded. We sued for 5 million in compensation, but it should not be so much. The final judgment will be around 1 million at most. This is the most ideal, said Bao Sanli. Bao Sanli said, however, Xia Wenjin's father said that he would rather use the money as a gift than to compensate Shin Yushi. Really? He said that. Yang Ming's face immediately became gloomy after listening to Bao Sanli's words. He did not expect Xia Wenjin's family to be so arrogant without regret at this time. Brother Yang, don't worry. Although he said so, I can guarantee that he can't give the money away. Who dares to accept his money? We are not to be trifled with, said Bao Sanli. Yang Ming was not afraid of him giving the money away, but he was annoyed with his attitude. Did he really say that when I asked him this? Bao Sanli nodded. When the court was adjourned today, he said so. Since he dares to say so, he must pay the price. Yang Ming said faintly, I will not let him go. Brother Yang, do you need me to find a few brothers? Asked Bao Sanli after listening to Yang Ming's words. No, Xia Wenjin's father is not an ordinary person. If you do it, it will bring you trouble. Then, they will sue you in turn. Yang Ming waved his hand and said, however, if I do it, there will be no such trouble. Wait until the next court session, humph. Although Bao Sanli did not know why Yang Ming wanted to wait until the next court session, he still nodded and did not say anything because of his trust in Yang Ming. The car stopped at the entrance of an old-fashioned community. This kind of community did not have a designated parking space, so the car could only be parked on the roadside of the community. Brother Yang, it's here. We have to walk in, said Bao Sanli. Yang Ming nodded and got out of the car with Bao Sanli. After a few turns in the community, they came to an old-fashioned residential building. Bao Sanli went upstairs first, and Yang Ming followed closely behind. There was a moldy smell in the corridor, mixed with the smell of vegetable leaves and pickled vegetables. This was a typical old-fashioned house. It could be imagined that the people who lived here were not rich. The rich had already moved away. Chapter 1591. Both sides of the narrow staircase were filled with various sundries. There were old storage cabinets, large jars used for pickling vegetables, salted cucumbers and green onions hanging at the side of the corridor, and cabbages placed on the windowsill. It was a typical farmhouse decoration. This kind of situation was rare in some new communities. Only some old people who moved back would be like this. How many young people knew how to pickle vegetables? Most of the people living in this community are former laid-off workers from the chemical factory. Most of them are not very rich, Bao Sanli explained to Yang Ming when he saw Yang Ming looking around the corridor. What do Shin Yushi's parents do? Yang Ming nodded and asked. Shin Yushi's father, Shin Daki, was originally a workshop worker in Songjiang's North and South chemical factory. After he was laid off, he set up a breakfast stall in the market near this community. He made some sesame seed cakes and tofu pudding. Shin Yushi's mother, Sun Liping, used to be a part-time worker. Now that Shin Yushi's legs are not good, she takes care of Shin Yushi at home. She makes some pickled vegetables at home and lets Shin Daki sell them at the market at noon and at night. Bao Sanli said, originally, the management office of the market also charged a daily fee. After I talked to them, they waived half of the fee. You didn't represent the company to give Shin Yushi's family some money? Yang Ming asked when he heard that Shin Yushi's family was actually so poor. I did, but Shin Daki didn't want it no matter what. Bao Sanli smiled bitterly and said, Shin Daki is a simple man. He felt that since our company had already paid so much for Shin Yushi's medical expenses, it would be unreasonable to ask for more money from us. Yang Ming was slightly stunned, but he didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. Shin Daki's character was similar to Yang Dahai's character in the past. He was simple and wouldn't take advantage of others. We're here, Brother Yang. This is the door. Bao Sanli stopped in front of a door on the top floor and said to Yang Ming. Oh. Shin Yushi's house is so high up. How did she go up and down the stairs? Yang Ming saw that Shin Yushi lived on the top floor and couldn't help but frown. She was carried up on a stretcher. Bao Sanli smiled and said, there are so many strong men in our company. Just call a few of them and they would rush to help. Help. Yang. After listening to Bao Sanli, he couldn't help but feel speechless. Indeed, there were a lot of strong men in the security company. And they could easily find a few of them to carry Shin Yushi to go up and down. Dang dang dang. Bao Sanli knocked on the door. Who is it? After a while, a man's voice came from inside the room. Is it Olf Lu? You can set up your own stall today, I won't be going. As they were talking, the door was opened. A middle-aged man's face full of wrinkles appeared. After seeing Bao Sanli, he was stunned. Mr. Bao, why are you here? Please come in. I thought it was old Lu downstairs, looking for me to set up a stall in the market. Uncle Shin, this is Yang Ming. Mr. Yang. He came with me to see Yushi. Bao Sanli smiled and introduced Yang Ming to Shindaki. Previously, Bao Sanli had misunderstood the relationship between Shin Yushi and Yang Ming. Therefore, even though he was younger than Shindaki by about 10 years, he was afraid that he would mess up the seniority between him and Yang Ming. Therefore, he called Shindaki uncle. Oh. Shindaki was stunned and looked at Yang Ming in surprise. His daughter had mentioned Yang Ming's name during this period of time. Shindaki misunderstood and thought that Yang Ming was Shin Yushi's boyfriend. When he saw his daughter's expression when she talked, Shin Yushi seemed to have deep feelings for Yang Ming. Although Shindaki tried to ask his daughter about Yang Ming, Shin Yushi kept her mouth shut and didn't say anything important. However, the more she acted like this, the more Shindaki was sure that this Yang Ming was Yang Ming's boyfriend. Maybe because his daughter had become like this, her boyfriend had probably left her. Therefore, after Shindaki guessed this, he didn't dare to ask his daughter anything. He didn't want to make his daughter sad. However, Shindaki was secretly angry. He scolded this Yang Ming for being heartless. After his daughter got into trouble, this boyfriend called Yang Ming didn't come to visit her, not even symbolically. This made Shindaki even more angry. When he suddenly heard Bao Sanli say that the person who came was Yang Ming, Shindaki's face immediately became gloomy. Yang Ming, I've heard a lot about you. Shindaki said coldly and didn't look at Yang Ming anymore. He turned around and said to Bao Sanli, Mr. Bao, please come in. Uncle Shin. Yang Ming called out to Shindaki doubtfully. He didn't know why Shindaki would treat him like this. It was as if there was a deep hatred between them. Bao Sanli was also very puzzled. He didn't understand what was wrong with Shindaki. However, it wasn't strange. Even if Shindaki had complaints, he wouldn't say bad things about Yang Ming to Bao Sanli. In Shindaki's opinion, it was impossible for Bao Sanli to know Yang Ming. Therefore, Bao Sanli naturally wouldn't say these things to him. When he suddenly saw Yang Ming and Bao Sanli together today, he was only angry at Yang Ming and neglected these small details. Humph, Shindaki snorted and didn't bother with Yang Ming. He also didn't say anything to Yang Ming. Yang Ming and Bao Sanli looked at each other and couldn't help but smile bitterly as they shrugged. Baozi, how did I offend Uncle Shin? I'm not sure either. You two probably haven't met before, right? Bao Sanli was also confused. Could it be that he is angry because you, as the chairman of the group, didn't come to visit Shin Yushi even once? He knows that I'm the chairman. Yang Ming shook his head in disbelief. He probably doesn't know, right? Then, I really can't guess. Why don't I ask? Bao Sanli thought for a while and couldn't think of a reason, so he said this. Forget it. It's not polite to ask directly. Let's take a look first. Yang Ming and Bao Sanli entered Shin Yushi's house together. Yang Ming and Bao Sanli followed Shindaki into the house. This was a typical small house with only one living room and one suite. When Yang Ming came to the living room, he saw a girl with a haggard face that couldn't hide her beauty flipping through something on the sofa. Yushi, Mr. Bao is here to see you, Shindaki said to Shin Yushi. Oh. Brother Bao. Shin Yushi put down the book in her hand in surprise. Brother Bao, didn't you just leave? Why did you come back? During this period of time, Shin Yushi and Bao Sanli's relationship had become more familiar. In the past, Shin Yushi still called Bao Sanli as President Bao. Later, Bao Sanli felt that it was strange and simply let her call him Brother Bao. Ah. Shin Yushi raised her head and saw Yang Ming coming into the house with Bao Sanli. She was stunned for a moment. She couldn't help but blush. Her beautiful eyes revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. Shin Yushi had always hoped that Yang Ming would come to see her. However, she also knew that her thoughts were somewhat unrealistic. Not to mention that she had no relationship with Yang Ming, it was still uncertain whether Yang Ming would still remember her. Even if he remembered her, how could Yang Ming come to see her? During this period of time, Shin Yushi had already found out about Yang Ming's true identity from her conversations with Bao Sanli. He was the chairman of the Ming-Yang group. Even Bao Sanli was his subordinate. How could such a person have any relationship with her? Her previous thoughts of being Yang Ming's lover had also faded a lot. However, after putting aside these unrealistic thoughts, Shin Yushi realized that she still had a good impression of Yang Ming in her heart. It was not because of anything else. Because of that time when he saved the damsel in distress in the private room, Shin Yushi's young maiden heart was deeply moved. Seeing his daughter's shy expression, Shindaki's heart was even more convinced. His expression became even more gloomy. While his heart ached for his daughter's infatuation, he was also a little annoyed by Yang Ming's heartless behavior. Looking at Yang Ming's calm expression, how did he look like his daughter's boyfriend? He looked like an ordinary stranger. This was Shindaki's misunderstanding of Yang Ming. Yang Ming had no other relationship with Shin Yushi. If they were too close, there would be a problem. However, Shindaki's first impression was the strongest. He believed that Yang Ming was a heartless man who did not want his daughter when he saw that she was disabled. This time, Yang Ming came to see Shin Yushi. Shindaki guessed that perhaps Bao Sanli knew that his daughter was still thinking about Yang Ming, so he captured Yang Ming and brought him to his daughter. Shindaki more or less knew about Bao Sanli's social connections and power. If Bao Sanli wanted to find someone, it would not be difficult. Chapter 1592. Mr. Bao, please have some tea. Shindaki poured a cup of tea for Bao Sanli and placed it on the coffee table in front of him. However, he completely ignored Yang Ming's existence. This. Thank you. Bao Sanli took the tea from Shindaki. He didn't know whether to drink it or give it to Yang Ming. He suddenly felt a little awkward. He didn't know what was wrong with Shindaki today. You can drink it, I'm not thirsty. Yang Ming smiled bitterly as he looked at Bao Sanli and said. You're not thirsty either. Shindaki said in his heart. However, he still suppressed his anger and didn't say it out loud. He wanted to see what Yang Ming would say to his daughter later. If he said something that could make them reconcile, then this matter would be over. However, if he really wanted to break up with his daughter or say something unfamiliar, then it wouldn't be too late for him to scold him. Shin Yushi, how are you? Yang Ming couldn't figure out why Shindaki treated him like this for the time being. He didn't care about him and simply turned his head to look at Shin Yushi and asked with concern. I still can't feel my leg. When Shin Yushi mentioned her leg, her face turned gloomy. The joy that she felt when Yang Ming came to visit her had also faded a little. Shin Yushi didn't know how Bao Sanli managed to invite Yang Ming over. However, she found out from Bao Sonli that Yang Ming had gone on a long trip a while ago. She was afraid that he had just returned. Bao Sonli was well aware of her feelings. She didn't know if he had told Yang Ming about it. When she thought that Yang Ming might know that she had a crush on him, Shin Yushi's face turned hot. She shyly lowered her head. Yang Ming didn't see the shyness on Shin Yushi's face. When he saw her lowering her head, he thought that she was sad because of the injury on her leg. Thus, he comforted her, "Medicine is so advanced now. There will always be a way." "What did the doctor say?" "The doctor said that there is no other way for Western medicine. He asked me to try Chinese medicine." Shin Yushi sighed and said, "The doctor asked me to try traditional Chinese massage and acupuncture. However, Brother Bao took me to try a few, but there was no effect, as long as there is hope." Yang Ming nodded and comforted him. "This kind of treatment is a slow process. It can't be done overnight." Shin Yushi listened to Yang Ming's encouragement, and hope rekindled in her heart. "I hope that I can stand up again." "I think so." Yang Ming nodded. "What book are you reading?" Yang Ming decided to change the topic first. The previous topic was a little heavy. He was afraid that if they talked too much, it would affect Shin Yushi's mood. "Oh, a book on hotel management." Shin Yushi was a little embarrassed, but she did not hide it from Yang Ming. "I bought it when I was working as a foreman in the hotel. I was going to learn it, but I didn't expect that something would happen later. Now that I have nothing to do, I took it out and flipped through it. Besides, with my family situation, there are really no other books to read." Shin Yushi was a little embarrassed as she spoke. Yang Ming naturally knew what Shin Yushi meant when she said that there were no other books to read. Shin Yushi's parents were both laid-off workers. They were not educated, so it was naturally impossible for them to buy any books. Before Shin Yushi became a foreman, her income was definitely not much, so it was impossible for her to buy any books. Listening to Shin Yushi's words, Yang Ming's heart felt uncomfortable. He did not expect that after all this talk, it would still be a sad thing. "Take care of yourself. When you are better, these can be used." "It will definitely work," said Yang Ming. "Hee, I hope so." Shin Yushi smiled sweetly. She felt that today was the happiest day since her accident. Although Yang Ming and her were just ordinary words, Shin Yushi was already very happy. This kind of opportunity did not always come by. Moreover, Shin Yushi had calmed down her mentality at the moment. She knew that she was definitely not worthy of Yang Ming now, so she no longer had that kind of thought and did not insist on anything. "Since you like to read books, I will look for them one day. I seem to have a lot of similar books in my dormitory. I will bring them all to you." Yang Ming remembered that Tian Donghua and Zhang Bin had bought a lot of management books. After Tian Donghua left, these books were left in the dormitory and were not taken away. Yang Ming wanted to make good use of the waste. "Okay." Shin Yushi nodded happily after listening to Yang Ming's words. "Alright, then that's it for now. I still have something to do tonight. I will come to see you another day." Yang Ming looked at the time on his phone and said to Shin Yushi, "Okay." Shin Yushi was very happy. There was no other reason. After Yang Ming came today, he promised to bring her books another day. Although Shin Yushi knew that she was not worthy of Yang Ming in her current situation, she still hoped that she could spend more time with Yang Ming. She also hoped that something would happen between them. "You are leaving just like that?" Seeing that Yang Ming wanted to leave, Shin Daki finally could not help but block Yang Ming's path, not letting him leave. "Aw. Why can't I leave?" Yang Ming was stunned by Shin Daki's action. Looking at Shin Daki's furious face, Yang Ming was really speechless. How did he offend this honest man? When Shindaki saw that Yang Ming was pretending to be stupid, he was so angry that his whole body trembled. He pointed at Yang Ming and scolded him, "You played with my daughter before. Now that my daughter's leg is injured, you don't care anymore. Has your conscience been eaten away by a dog?" When he was agitated, he did not choose his words carefully. Originally, Shindaki was not very educated. He originally wanted to express that his daughter and Yang Ming were together, but Yang Ming left her when Yushi was sick. However, when the words reached his mouth, he became agitated and said that Yang Ming played with Yushi. Huh? Yang Ming opened his eyes wide and looked at Shindaki in shock. He was speechless. Yang Ming's head was covered in cold sweat. When did I play with Yushi, and when did I not care anymore? Bao Sanli was also stunned by Shindaki's sudden attack. He stared blankly at Shindaki and was speechless. On the other hand, when Yushi heard Shindaki's words, she immediately understood what was going on. Father must have misunderstood her relationship with Yang Ming. Her previous hesitation did not make her father feel at ease. Instead, it made her father feel that she had a relationship with Yang Ming. That was why there was such an awkward situation now. Yushi felt that her face was burning. It was simply too embarrassing. How could father suddenly say this? "Father, what are you saying?" Yushi was anxious and quickly shouted at Shindaki. "Yushi, don't be afraid. Father will definitely stand up for you today." However, Shindaki waved his hand and interrupted Yushi. "Yang Ming, my daughter still thinks about you and misses you all the time. Even now, she still doesn't forget to protect you. However, do you really feel at ease?" Yang Ming didn't know how to explain after hearing Shindaki's words. At this moment, Yang Ming also faintly guessed something. Shindaki must have misunderstood something. When Yushi heard her father say her worries in front of Yang Ming, she immediately felt very embarrassed. Her face was red as she shouted, "Father, what are you talking about? You've made a mistake." "Made a mistake? What did I make a mistake?" When Shindaki saw that his daughter was actually so obsessed that she was still trying to exonerate Yang Ming, he also became a little anxious. "This brat Yang Ming is dating you. When your legs were fine, he was with you. Now that your legs are fine, he didn't even come to see you for so long. Did I see wrongly? Dating?" Yang Ming looked at Bao Sanli dumbfoundedly and smiled bitterly. "Brother Bao, why don't you explain?" "Uncle Shen, don't be agitated. There must be a misunderstanding in between." At this moment, Bao Sanli also understood what was going on. After being reminded by Yang Ming, he quickly said to Shindaki. President Bao, didn't you capture this Yang Ming and bring him to Yushi?" Shindaki didn't expect that Bao Sanli would also say that there was a misunderstanding in between. He was immediately stunned. "I captured him." Bao Sanli was stunned. He shook his head and said, "How could I capture him? Mr. Yang requested to come here himself. I was only leading the way." Chapter 1593. I thought that you brought this Yang Ming to Yushi because Yushi always talks about him. Shindaki suddenly said, "So, brat, you were the one who requested to bring him here?" Shindaki turned his head towards Yang Ming and asked. "It's me." Yang Ming nodded blankly. He looked at Yushi strangely. "This girl likes me. Now it seems that she often talks about me at home. That's why this misunderstanding happened. Okay, then tell me, do you want my Yushi or not?" Shindaki asked Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry after hearing Shindaki's words. How could he promote his daughter like this? Although Yushi's legs were numb, she was still an outstanding beauty. It wasn't like she couldn't get married, right? Dad, are you done messing around? When Shinyushi heard that her father was still interrogating Yang Ming about some groundless things, she couldn't help but say, Dad, what are you talking about? Yang Ming is the chairman of the Ming Yang Group, which is the head office of our nightless hotel. He's not my boyfriend. Ah. Shindaki was stunned. He looked at Shinyushi in disbelief. Yushi, what are you saying? You're saying Yang Ming isn't your boyfriend? He's not. Shinyushi blushed and shook her head. He's the chairman of your group. Shindaki looked at Yang Ming awkwardly. Yes, he's the chairman of our group. Shinyushi nodded. So, you're saying he's not your boyfriend? Shindaki scratched his head doubtfully. Of course not. Shinyushi bit her lips and lowered her head shyly. What happened today was really too embarrassing. How was she going to face Yang Ming in the future after what her father did? Shindaki slapped his forehead and changed the way he addressed Yang Ming. That. Chairman Yang. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I mistook you for Yushi's boyfriend. I'm really sorry for being rude to you before, it's nothing. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said, It's good that you've figured it out. I thought I had offended you before. Yang Ming really didn't have any bad feelings towards this honest middle-aged man. When he saw him, he thought of his father in the past. Therefore, Yang Ming didn't get angry, he just felt helpless. Don't mention it. Shindaki also smiled bitterly, it's all that brat Yushi's fault. She always mentions your name and is so affectionate. I thought you were her boyfriend. Dad. If you keep talking about it, I won't be good with you anymore. Shinyushi was really anxious now. If Yang Ming asked about what happened before, she could just cover it up. However, her father had actually told him everything in detail. How was she going to face Yang Ming in the future? Okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Shindaki was shocked and quickly shut his mouth. Yang Ming felt that Shinyushi's girly attitude was a little funny, but he couldn't laugh. His heart felt heavy for no reason. After knowing Shinyushi's thoughts, Yang Ming was a little worried. If it was any other time, it wouldn't be a big deal. However, under the current situation, his unintentional words might hurt Shinyushi's fragile heart. Therefore, Yang Ming was also a little embarrassed. He was frozen in place and didn't know what to say. Yang Ming. Chairman Yang, you don't have to listen to my father's nonsense. When Shinyushi saw that Yang Ming was stunned, she quickly explained, It's just that you saved me before. I am grateful to you from the bottom of my heart, so I said a few more words, and my father misunderstood. You should just call me Yang Ming. Don't call me Chairman Yang, it's a little awkward. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and waved his hand. That's okay. Shinyushi didn't know why she directly called Yang Ming. The age gap between her and Yang Ming was too small. She was really not used to calling Yang Ming a leader. It's okay, Yang Ming said, it's just a misunderstanding. It's fine as long as it's clarified. You don't have to worry. Shinyushi nodded, then, are you still coming? I'll naturally send the books to you when I find them, Yang Ming nodded. Shinyushi nodded again. Then, I'll be leaving. Yang Ming asked. Shinyushi nodded again. Uncle Shin, Bao Sanli and I will be leaving first. If there's anything, just give Baozi a call, Yang Ming said to Shindaki. Okay, Chairman Yang. I'm really sorry about what happened before. Shindaki was still a little embarrassed when he faced Yang Ming. After knowing Yang Ming's identity, Shindaki immediately understood the whole story. It must be that his daughter had a one-sided crush on Yang Ming. He even scolded Yang Ming. This made Shindaki feel very embarrassed. It's nothing, Yang Ming waved his hand, I've already said that it's a misunderstanding. After glancing at Shin Yushi, Yang Ming waved his hand at her. When Shin Yushi saw that Yang Ming didn't take the previous matter to heart, she happily waved her hand at Yang Ming. Yang Ming and Bao Sanli then left the Shin residence together. Shin Yushi couldn't get up, so Shindaki sent Yang Ming and Bao Sanli to the staircase. Uncle Shin, you can go back, Yang Ming said. Come and play when you have time. Shindaki said enthusiastically. He was no longer as cold as before. After leaving the staircase, Yang Ming let out a sigh of relief. You already knew. Yang Ming looked at Bao Sanli and asked. Brother Yang. I'm sorry, Bao Sanli was shocked and quickly apologized. Who asked you to apologize? Yang Ming frowned, I'm asking if you already knew. I know a little. Bao Sanli nodded. Previously, when Yushi was at the Nightless Club, there were rumors that she was your lover. When I promoted her to foreman, it was also because of this reason. Jing Xiaolu, Shin Yushi. Yang Ming glared at Bao Sanli, you're really smooth and slick. Things haven't even started yet, but you've already made preparations. Yang Ming. I'm sorry, Bao Sanli felt a chill in his heart and said carefully. I already said that I didn't ask you to apologize. Yang Ming waved his hand, your way of doing things is understandable, but when did this Shin Yushi have a good impression of me? Why didn't I know? It was that time when you saved her in the private room, right? Bao Sanli reminded him. Yang Ming thought about it, and this was the only possibility, so he nodded. Is there any hope for her leg to be cured? It's hard to say. Bao Sanli hesitated and said, I tried many traditional Chinese medicine halls, but there was no effect. However, a few of them were liars. They kept recommending me to buy medicine and nutritional products. I was so angry that I asked someone to smash their signboard. The remaining few didn't have much effect. Although they were not liars, they were also quacks. After listening to Bao Sanli's words, Yang Ming almost laughed to death. Why are you still so reckless? This kind of difficult and miscellaneous disease is not easy to cure. I will try my best to contact them again. Bao Sanli smiled embarrassedly. The next time you come to see Shin Yushi, give me a call. Yang Ming didn't have a good impression of Shin Yushi, but he felt that this girl was a little cute. The reason why Yang Ming said this was entirely because he wanted Shin Yushi to maintain a positive attitude and face every day happily. This way, the hope of recovery would be greater. In many cases, the recovery of stubborn diseases still depended on the patient's own will. Okay. Bao Sanli nodded. Until they got in the car, Yang Ming's mood slowly calmed down. How to deal with the relationship with Shin Yushi gave Yang Ming a headache. For such a girl, Yang Ming couldn't bear to directly say anything to refuse. However, what Yang Ming didn't expect was that an amazing scene was playing out in Dade Elegant Taxi Company. Zhang Yuliang, hit me again. Zhang Liebao ordered Zhang Yuliang. Ah. Zhang Yuliang didn't know what Zhang Liebao meant. Fourth master, what are you talking about? I asked you to hit me again. Didn't you hear me? Said Zhang Liebao. Hit you? Why would I hit you? Zhang Yuliang was stunned. Fourth master, Brother Yang has already left. Why do you still want to use this trick? Just hit me when I ask you to. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Zhang Liebao saw Zhang Yuliang being so naggy, and he was a little unhappy. That's fine. Then I will hit you. This is what you asked me to do. Zhang Yuliang said helplessly. Hurry up. Don't waste time. Zhang Liebao frowned. Paw. Zhang Yuliang slapped Zhang Liebao's face. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.